Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 12th edition of TWitWoW's Five Fave Fives. If you're unfamiliar with this series, this is a series that we do a few times a year. We've been doing it, I believe, 3 times a year for a long time. This year we did it 4 times. Next year we're hoping to get up to 5 or maybe even 6. But at the end of the day, what we are going to be doing here is listing our 5 favorite performers from the 3 major promotions slash brands slash, I don't even know how to describe it at this point, but the general idea is we're grouping places together and we're naming our 5 favorite wrestlers from those groups in the world. And, you know, it's really, we're doing 4 of them. And then the 5th one is the rest of the wrestling world that we don't mention in the other 4. So the 4 that we're going to be doing for sure are, we've got WWE, which is including only Smackdown and Raw now. But then we've also got NXT, which includes NXT, 205 Live, and NXT UK. Then we've got New Japan, we've got Stardom, and then we've got the other section. So we're going to be listing our 5 favorite wrestlers, as well as honorable mentions, because we hate to just leave people off if we love them, and we love more than 5 people in a lot of promotions. So we're going to be doing honorable mentions as well. And then when we finish with all those, we will list a universal top 10, listing our 10 favorite wrestlers in the world of wrestling today, regardless of promotion. We hope that you're all ready for a deep seat, because these usually go for a couple hours. I hope that you're all excited about this. I know that John and I most certainly are. And John, do you have anything you want to say before we get into this?
I love these commentaries so much. I looked over my list, and I gotta say, Ashton, you did inspire a good bit of it in our last 5 Fave 5, and I'll provide more context for that when it's relevant. But really looking it over, I'm like, you know what? Even if I do, because I don't know if you do this, Ashton, but sometimes when we go off the air after these, I'm like, am I really still? I'm still questioning it even after the fact, right? And I'm sure I'll do that again here. But I think, just to get you guys hyped, at least on my side of things, this might be my favorite list that I've ever done. Because I really feel like I put a lot of thought into this. Again, right up to us going live. And I'm just really psyched to share it with you all. So, yeah, I'm feeling really good on my side of the table. And I'm ready to get into this when you are, man.
All right. Well, obviously we go in order. So we're going to start with our WWE lists. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first here?
You know what, dude? You go first, because I'm only quote tweeting your tweet. I want to get as many people here as possible. So why don't you run down your honorable mentions for us while I'm doing that?
Okay. So for WWE, and I am actually going to list these backwards. So I'm going to be listing these in order from my least favorite honorable mention, the person that was sort of the most, how do I put this? The person who's clinging to my honorable mention the hardest. The person that's like, if they don't keep putting in the work, they're going to drop off my honorable mention list the fastest, kind of thing.
Yes.
So I'm going to go from that person to the person that really, really came close to making my Fave 5 and just barely missed out. All right?
All right.
So from worst to best, AJ Styles, Riddle, Reckoning, Mace, Big E, MVP, Chad Gable, Asuka, Keith Lee, Drew McIntyre, Murphy, Shayna Baszler, Sasha Banks, Ruby Riott, and Liv Morgan.
Love it. I'm going to make a note, too, to everybody. I really did try and do my honorable mentions that way, the way that Ashton just described, because, you know, in the past, so everybody's clear, my honorable mentions, I never really thought about it in a ranking way. I just listed names to list them, and then the 5 were they were obviously ranked. Yeah. So I did try and be a bit more mindful in my honorable mentions. I'm even kind of questioning the WWE one now, but I'm just going to go with it. And we're already starting. John Morrison did not make my favorite.
Wow, yeah, the booking has really killed him on you, huh?
Yeah, he really had. Like, he's still an incredible athlete. Like, you know, even recently we saw that 6-man tag where they tied with Orton. He looked fucking phenomenal. But, you know, we'll see. But, yeah, that's already, guys, tell you how different my lists are. John Morrison, top of my honorable mentions. The Hurt Business, who I just treated as one monolith as a faction. Drew McIntyre, Daniel Bryan, Sasha Banks, The Fiend. Fiend really fell off.
Wow, yeah,
Big E, Woods and Kofi, so I kind of treat them as a tag team. Elias, Cesaro and Nakamura, Jey Uso, Asuka. I would flip those thinking about the ranking, by the way. Shayna Baszler, Chad Gable, Keith Lee, and I'm really happy to have this one on there, Sheamus. I really enjoyed Sheamus this quarter, so I wanted to give him a nod. Yeah. Yeah, I really, like I told you, brother, I put a lot of thought into this, and my honorable mention was actually pretty padded out this quarter, so.
Yeah, wow. Holy hell.
So, yeah, I guess with that said, we both went through our honorable mentions. Who cracked number 5 for you on your WWE Fave 5?
Number 5 on my Fave 5 is Daniel Bryan.
Ooh, he just made it. Good shit, though.
Dude, I was really struggling with my number 5. I was tossing around 3 different names. And, I mean, you can kind of tell from my honorable mentions who the 3 were, because it was Bryan, and then my top 2 honorable mentions were Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. And, like, those are the 3 names that I was really tossing around for that 5th spot. So I ended up going with Daniel Bryan, though. Just because, like, he just came back and I'm already feeling really energized by his presence on the product. He is just, I think I might have said this before, but if I haven't, it's probably going to be a little bit of a shock to some people. I think that Bryan has officially supplanted Eddie as my favorite wrestler of all time.
Yes, I believe you have said that, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, he might be my favorite wrestler of all time, but as of right now, he's not really doing that much, so I couldn't really rank him that much higher, but, like, I fucking love this dude. Like, I feel like I've sung his praises so often in the past that I don't really even need to get that far into it again, because it would be repetitive, but he's just so wonderful and passionate and talented. Like, he's just the best.
Yeah, he really is. Okay, so the surprises keep coming on my end. I really can't believe these lists turned out this way. Number 5 for me, and this is probably the only time that this is going to happen, so enjoy it, folks, or be horrified by it. I don't know, pick your poison. Randy Orton.
Wow.
Came in at number 5. I can't lie. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed him feuding with Drew for the WWE title. I enjoyed his ambulance promo before their ambulance match. And dude, come on. I think even you'd have to admit, even if you can't vibe with me that hard, which I totally get, it's been a bit funny seeing him be Ham putting on the night vision goggles to attack legends.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Like, there's been campiness, there's been great promos. I saw a stat about Orton recently that I think he's been working for close to 20 years, and the only time he's taken off has been because of injuries. So the dude's a fucking workhorse. And, like, honestly, and you're going to see this is kind of a theme on the list a little bit. I'm not going to say it's like a really emphasized theme, but I've really grown in my older age seeing how seedy the wrestling business is, which, I mean, let's be fair. Because, Ashton, you and I were having a great conversation about problematic performers. Orton is that, not only because of, like, his earlier years, but even recently the story came out about how he put his hand down his junk and then try and shake people's hands. I'm sorry, that's a form of, like, I don't know if you want to call it explicitly sexual harassment, but it's gross. Like, we should be honest about that. But if we're going to do the mental gymnastics and we're going to do the compartmentalizing and everything, as a performer, I've really enjoyed him this quarter. He's been feeling himself. His Twitter game is top fucking notch, but even the TV stuff, I haven't hated the promos. Honestly, it's weird. You'd think that I would have liked him in the feud with Edge, but I mean, the WrestleMania match was terrible and this and that. But once he got away from Edge, and that's why I can't wait for Edge to get away from him, because I'll probably really like Edge there too. Like, yeah, it's been good stuff. Yeah. I actually was even enjoying, and I even said this on the podcast, like, I was enjoying his WWE title reign of him being this paranoid champion of, like, who's coming after me, who do I trust? And, I felt like they could have done, like, a modern paranoid rattlesnake when they did the brief Stone Cold heel stint. Obviously, they didn't want to do that, and I totally understand. Drew is the guy that you should be investing in right now. Yeah. But I feel like for what it was, I had fun with Randy this quarter. Again, he's probably never going to crack a top 5, maybe honorable mentions. Wow, Ella, I know, and you know what? Good call out. Good call out there.
Didn't even catch that. Good call.
Yeah,
good
I can't even be mad, Ella. That you just sniped my ass. But yeah, bro, like, that's why I love 5 though, because you never know who's gonna make an impression on somebody. I feel like you've had shocks for me. Because didn't you have John Cena one time in one quarter when he was still
dude,
active?
I had John Cena multiple times, yeah.
Yeah, and, like, I feel like there was one time, though, you had him that might have shocked me. So, yeah, like, Orton got the nod for me. I just really enjoyed his work this quarter, and I'm not going to do the whole 3 dangerous letters thing, but yeah, even
Please,
that.
Thank you. We hear that enough from him.
Yeah. So, with that said, man, who comes in at number 4 for your Five Fave Five?
Well, number 4 on my Fave 5 is the leader of Retribution himself, Mustafa Ali.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah,
Talk
man.
about it.
I've really. I mean, you did hear me. I mentioned 2 members of Retribution in my Fave 5 or my honorable mention. And really, it was specifically the 2 people whose Twitter games I like most because they basically get to do nothing on TV. Although Reckoning did get to take Dana Brooke out of the Survivor Series women's match, which was pretty cool. So at the end of the day, I am a Retribution fan. I like pretty much everyone involved. Actually, no, not pretty much. I like everyone involved. There's no pretty much about it. I do like everyone involved. But Ali is really doing his best to turn chicken shit into chicken salad, man. Like, he has gotten such a raw deal here. He has gotten so just unjustly shat on by the powers that be here. And he is finding ways to justify and talk his way out of and talk his way into making me believe in Retribution when I have no actual reason to believe in them, because again, it's like, Vince's, avatar for fucking Antifa, and we know Vince is a rightist and all that shit, and, a big time corporation owner and all that, whatever. But yeah, Ali is an amazing talent, and he's doing his damnedest to try and get this faction over despite all odds being against him. And I just have so much respect for him. Plus, like, he's just so good and so full of correct takes. And it's just heartwarming to finally have a good guy in pro wrestling.
I think you said that beautifully, so I'm going to move right along. Number 4 for me, the role model, Bayley, baby.
Nice.
So she did fall a bit, but Bayley has still been, I'll tell you guys, let me tell you something about Bayley, and I am going to be a bit extended with her, only because I'm just going to say right now, she was the only woman to be in my Fave Fives, like, on my list. So I constantly say, and I do not redact at any point, that Stardom is one of the best wrestling promotions in the world, and I think they really are the epicenter of any real, like, women's revolution with the quality of their matches, how they treat storylines, etc., etc. Like, we're even seeing what's happening with Mayu and Tam. You tell me, and I guess Bayley and Sasha would come the closest to that, but, like, even the storytelling in Stardom, I think, does so much more justice to the women than WWE could hope to. Bayley, to me, and again, her and Sasha, who did make an honorable mention for me, are really that exception, because the sense of continuity, how they construct their matches, how they do their promos, like, Bayley has even said turning heel was the best thing for me, and it came at the perfect time because, there were no fans in the arenas, and I really felt like I could experiment, which I think says something about her. I don't know, maybe she felt like a bit gun-shy, like, what if they don't boo me? What if they want me on a promo?
Yeah.
Which, God, I'm to be perfectly truthful, at the risk of sounding like an asshole, that is one thing I'm not looking forward to crowds coming back. I really have not missed the what chance at all.
Yeah.
And you notice we haven't heard a single one, even with the Thunderdome, because they can just control all the noise and everything.
Yeah.
But she's just so goddamn consistent, and, like, it's really vindicating to me. And I know Becky fans, and hopefully now Sasha fans, can sympathize with me when I say this. It's so vindicating that we can at least say that Charlotte didn't get everything.
Yeah.
And that Bayley was really able to do something worthwhile with the championship, just as Becky was able to do something worthwhile in her run. And again, I want that for Sasha now. Like, now it's Sasha's turn.
Yeah.
She's incredible. Like, her staying power, because see, I think what makes her so impressive to me, and why she may always have a place on my Fave 5, is I'm not gonna front. I didn't think she could do it. I didn't think she could be a good heel at all. Like, I really thought she was one of those Ricky Steamboat types where it's like, you're a babyface, that's how you're typecast, and the moment you go outside your comfort zone, you're fucked. But no, she really is that multi-tool player, because now when she turns back into being a babyface, especially if she does it with a crowd, it'll be fucking gangbusters for one. And then if for whatever reason you wanted to experiment with her being heel again, I'm pretty confident she could pull it off. So, like, yeah, she's just an amazing all-around performer from the in-ring, making compelling matches. I mean, again, never forget that she got a good match out of Tamina, which I know was way beyond this quarter, but, just recollecting history. And, yeah, her promos in the Sasha feud were great. The idea that she had a chair specifically designated for Sasha was a great piece of work. Yeah, she just gets it, man. She just really has a fundamental understanding of what it means to be a heel, especially in 2020. And it's just, I adore her. I adore her. And honestly, even though she just got done having a record-breaking reign, she is of such a caliber that I can't wait for her to be champion again. Like, and it's rare I say that about somebody after they've had a long run like she did. But I'm looking forward to, future reigns. So, with that said, unless you have anything you want to add, I'm curious who number 3 was.
Well, I mean, you love her, but apparently I love her just a tiny bit more because she's my number 3.
Oh, holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Bayley has really in the last couple months, I don't think I had her this high on my last Fave 5. Yeah, no, she wasn't even in my Fave 5 last time we did this. And honestly, she didn't even make my honorable mention the last time we did this. But the last couple months have really opened my eyes to just how good Bayley is and how talented she is. And I think a part of that is how much less I have liked Sasha since they've broken. Like, since the break, I have really been higher on Bayley than Sasha, and I never thought I'd see the day that I'd be able to say that, but here we are. And it gives me this whole new appreciation for Bayley as a performer, because not only does she cut great promos, she talks great shit in the ring. She is interactive with Michael Cole, which I think adds a lot to her character. Here's the thing. If you need only one little bit of proof that Bayley is, if not the best, at least one of the 2 best workers in the 4 Horsewomen, look no further than Sasha Banks' Hell in a Cell matches, because I wasn't a big fan of the Becky match. I don't think many people were fans of the Charlotte match, but everybody fucking loved the Bayley match, including me. Bayley Sasha is my non-Stardom women's match of the year, I believe. And
yeah,
and that did happen in this grading period, so it's not like in past. So like it gives me this whole new appreciation for like, well, Sasha couldn't have, in my eyes, again, I got to emphasize, this is my opinion, because I know that there are a lot of people that absolutely loved Sasha Becky last year, but I didn't. So in my eyes, Sasha Banks couldn't have an amazing Hell in a Cell match with Becky Lynch, who is a good worker, or Charlotte, who, pass, fine, you're good. But she had a great one with Bayley. And to me, that is like confirmation that while Becky is still really, really good in the ring, Bayley is just that much better. And while Sasha is arguably one of the best in the ring, Bayley might be closer to being on her level than I realized in the ring. And Bayley has all of her shit together character and promo wise. And you're absolutely right. The build to their Hell in a Cell match was exceptional. And I feel like Bayley carried most of that because Sasha was out for the most part. Sasha cut 1 or 2 promos, and they were her like weird female Triple H-esque like babyface promos that I hate. So Bayley has been absolutely killing it in these last 2 months. She is one of the biggest reasons that I prefer Smackdown to Raw. And at this point, I should actually just say this right now. All 3 of my top 3 in my Fave 5 are are SmackDown performers. Bayley is one of the biggest reasons, but not the biggest reason, obviously, because there are 2 other people that I have higher than her. But I just have really loved her run. Her title reign was great. And even since, and this is kind of what really sealed me wanting her on my Fave 5 this time for me, I have actually still enjoyed Bayley post-title run. I have still enjoyed her work, her commentary. Like, if we were still doing guest commentator of the year, Bayley would win it for me easily, because she was really good on commentary the other day, just healing it up, kind of being annoying, getting under Bianca Belair's skin, that kind of thing. She did a really good job on commentary too, and that's something that she was never good at as a babyface. But I feel like as a heel, she's been allowed to be more herself and kind of let loose a little bit, and it has really worked for her. And I have become a way bigger fan of Bayley than I even was in NXT.
I love it so much. I was even going to joke with you that, like, we're so happy to have you, but you ranked her higher than I did. So it's like, I'm just happy to be here. Amazing. I love it. Number 3 for me. And I got to say, Mark, you and I have that same energy, because number 3 for me is the tribal chief, Roman fucking Reigns.
Wow.
It feels fucking good.
I think I know who your number 1's going to be for WWE now.
Yeah, I think everybody should if they've really seen me either on Twitter or on here.
Yeah, yeah. You can't stop quote tweeting him.
No, I cannot. Roman, he's so good right now. Like, I'd love to have something intelligent or witty to say, but, like, all that I've got is that, like, he's just really on his game right now. He looks fucking great. I love that. I almost feel like he heard the call-outs, like, you wearing that vest because you got nothing underneath, Roman? Oh, I'll show you. I'll fucking show all of you. And this is after beating leukemia again.
Yeah.
So, like, what is your excuse? And then all the beta males, you know, the non-McAfees, as I also like to call them. You're so mean to me. And you're mad against 1 star because you're mean. Yeah, shut up. So Roman's killing it. I love that Paul Heyman is a background character because Roman Reigns has made me give a shit about Paul Heyman again. So Roman Reigns is elevating people outside the ring for me. Because you guys know, I feel like Ash and I would both say, like, okay, I know that Paul's a great talker, but they're leaning on it way too much here. Mm-hmm. And they're starting to get redundant, and they're starting to run in a circle. But, like, he's meek, and he's timid around Roman. The same guy that I know when Paul was... Beg pardon?
I said he owes Roman.
He owes Roman, yeah. Like, this is the same guy that when he was repping Brock... had no problem talking shit to Roman, but the moment Roman picked him up, because we all knew Paul was waiting for Roman to text him. He's that guy, like, Brock's just like, hey, Paul, you ready to go? Yeah. Well, what are you looking at your phone for? Nothing. And he's just desperately hoping that Roman will call. And ever since Roman called, it's like, I am doing everything in my power to make this last forever. And I think one of my favorite moments between the two was very recently, the contract signing between Roman and Drew, where he signaled for Heyman to get the championship, and he almost tripped over himself getting Roman his championship. Mm-hmm. I am like, that is amazing. Speaking of Roman more here, because, again, now we're getting in the top 3 stratosphere here.
Yeah.
Has done the greatest low blow of all time with the kick-out low blow that I didn't even think was fucking possible. Yep. And, like, his offense always made sense from the perspective of a top guy. You never wanted to... That's why, like, Hogan's a piece of shit, sure. But the guy knew how to work in the sense of, well, except maybe the leg drop. Maybe he would have wanted something different. Like, I know you've always said, like, the Axe Bomber. It's like, I've got these moves that work, and that's just going to make me money till I die. If Velveteen Dream didn't fuck his life up so bad and was such a piece of shit, he was very similar in his offense. I appreciate people that have that offense. Roman's the same way, and it works even more now with this character. This character that puffs their chest out and is like, I'm the tribal chief, you answer to me. It makes perfect sense why you would open hand strike them in the face. It makes perfect sense why you would spear them and debilitate their ability to breathe. Like, it all makes so much more sense now that he's an asshole. And I love it. And I love, too, even the promos because, like, it's a bold move relegating him into the background, but one that they won big on, as I just got done noting, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But Roman's promos, they're so concise, and I almost feel like there's a real honesty to them. You know, like, yeah, I'm better than everyone else, and honestly, I felt this way for a long time, and it feels so good to finally own it. And I'm like, yeah. Like, I can't, like, what do you expect me to say to that? Like, because then I reflect on myself, and I'm like, I just had a 2,000-word essay on, like, NoDQ.com about why Roman Reigns sucks. And then I look in the mirror, and all the tears are streaming down my face like the meme, because it's like, wow, my life is so empty that I go after the fucking king, and I feel like I connected, bitch, please.
The Roman, meme where it's like the sad guy crying wearing the happy guy mask?
Yeah, exactly. It's so good. It's so fucking good. But yeah, dude, I don't want to get redundant. I just had to fangirl over it because I don't think I've ever been a bigger Roman Reigns fan, except for maybe when the Shield like first started, because I loved how they used him as a powerhouse. But even then, this is on a completely other level. So I'm going to hand it over to you, man. Who's number 2 on your 5 Fave 5?
Number 2 on my 5 Fave 5 is Sami Zayn.
Oh my God. Take it away, man.
God, I never thought I'd see the day that somebody whose gimmick is like frantic and annoying would become a favorite of mine, but it's not just the energy that does it for me. It's specifically the places that the energy is directed to, right? Because it's like if somebody had this frantic, like almost annoying energy and they weren't preaching so many truths and so much power to truth or truth to power, or however the fuck that phrase goes, I really wouldn't like them. They would probably actually annoy the shit out of me. They'd be a really, really good heel for me because I would get worked hard by them. But Sami Zayn, you know what, Sammy, you can annoy me all you want because you're out here doing the good thing, you know, fighting the good fight, trying to educate people, and doing it in a way that you can kind of hide under the mask of, oh no, guys, America's actually great. I'm just a heel. But we all know what you're doing. Well, those of us that are in the know what you're doing, and we appreciate it. And let's not allow ourselves to forget that this dude was like the literal face of NXT for a really long time, and that he is arguably the only babyface on the main roster right now that has yes movement, Daniel Bryan levels of potential to actually get over as a top babyface. And here he is as this scuzzy scumbag anti-American heel who keeps on just speaking truths and being a dick about it. And his promos are so fun, and he is so like I don't know if I've ever seen anybody in pro wrestling before who was better at improving rambling better than Sami Zayn is. Like, this dude is an absolute genius when it comes to just spouting off words that have no reason. Like, they really don't have any right to make any sense, but he makes them make sense, and that he makes it coherent, even though he speaks in a way that you would expect it to be incoherent, because he speaks like you'd expect someone who's on fucking drugs. Like, you're expecting word salad, but you get actual, like, meaningful thoughts and sentences and stuff. And the way that he like confronted Bryan this past Friday and got shoved, and then the way that he immediately got up and he kept yammering was hilarious. I just think that Sammy, like, there's a lot good to say about Sammy, and I kind of feel like I've covered most of it. So I just love Sami Zayn. He's one of the reasons that I prefer SmackDown to Raw, and there's only one other reason left, and we'll get to that after you tell us what your number 2 is.
My number 2, the leader of Retribution, Ali.
I'm a little bit surprised you had him this high, but good.
I reiterate to our audience, just so that we're all clear, the uncrowned WWE champion. I love Drew. I respect Drew immensely. I have said repeatedly, also on this platform, that I feel like Drew has gotten an unfair rap in the middle of a pandemic. Like, he is the WWE champion in the most trying time in the company's history.
Yep.
And that alone, and him not being a fuck up about it, I will always respect him, like, to the rest of my wrestling fandom, however long that may last. You would think till death, but WWE, I don't know, they're really pushing it. But Ali, man. Like, I have straight up called him daddy material on the podcast. Still true. His promos, his in-ring work is impeccable, and he has got a faction that if they would just give one iota of a fuck, you don't even need to. You really just need one, and Ali will take care of the rest. You could make him a believable, long-standing WWE champion as a heel. Like, I'm already going to tell you guys right now, because we're still a ways away from the Rumble, because I think, Ashton, you confirmed that the Rumble's January 24th in 2021.
Yep, correct.
As it stands right now, if Ali doesn't make the Final Four of the Royal Rumble, because I honestly don't expect him to win, but God knows I would love WWE booking to change my mind. If he doesn't make the Final Four, that's a fucking crock. Because, like, these guys should be terrorizing the fucking company. I mean, Reckoning took out Dana Brooke, you know, and I know that was kind of a statement, but I still want her to feud with Asuka. And keeping it on Ali, look, Survivor Series is over, and we're looking at new contenders, which, by the way, speaking of Crocs, it was another Croc. The Retribution didn't even have a presence at Survivor Series for, like, anything. Like, what the fuck are you doing? This is a dude...
They should have helped Sammy beat Bobby.
Yeah. Yeah, they should help Sammy beat Bobby because like we don't have, and then attack Sammy afterwards. Help Sammy beat Bobby and then attack Sammy afterwards because we have loyalty to no brand. We're only loyal to ourselves. We're only loyal to dishing out retribution, and they don't do that. They don't do that when you've got a guy. I mean, first of all, I could go with the each individual group member, but that would eat up too much time, and I do just want to keep the focus on Ali. Dude's an amazing promo, as I said, amazing in-ring work. But then you look at the look. Which, again, I've called the man daddy, so I think that suffices to say that he's fucking handsome as shit. Which, as a heel, you should be, okay? Like, I didn't need Corrin Gaines because I'm fucking goals already, all right? And then, like you just said, his story, his takes, it's so beautiful. And I know that's usually better when you're a babyface, but here's the thing. I don't expect Ali to be a heel for the rest of his career. So you know what you do? You get the mileage when he's a heel now, and you do everything. And then, just like Bayley, what I said earlier, and just like we're going to see with Roman again when that happens, because I really think that they're going to do it right this time, because they've been doing it really well so far, when they turn face, massive pops, and you get big baby faces. Fucking learn your own business, for Christ's sake. Like, it's not that hard. Now, I'm not saying, like, push them all at once, but like we just said when The Fiend was hot a while back, and God, do I miss those fucking days. There is no such thing as too soon. There's definitely such a thing as too late, but fucking situate him there. Because honestly, at this point, I don't know what the WWE title picture is going to be for Mania with Drew getting the title back, because I was honestly one of those cynics that was convinced, we're doing Orton Edge. If we're going to go with Drew and they don't know what the fuck they want to do with Keith Lee, which that's another disgrace as well. I know I say as a guy that had Keith very low even in the honorable mentions, but Keith's a freak. I'll never deny that. But if you don't know what the fuck you want to do with Keith Lee, why not just have Retribution fucking be relentless with Drew McIntyre? Make his life a living hell.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think at the end of the day, our Five Fave Fives aren't necessarily a representation of who we think the best overall performers are. I think it's more about, it's a combination of, like, yes, best overall performers that we think, but also, like, they have to be doing something. They have to be doing something compelling. Like, it's not who is the best performer in a vacuum. It's who is the best thing going right now.
Exactly. And I feel like Ali, when he's given the chance, is. So I'm just going to put a pin in this and say that if Ali versus McIntyre is not on the discussion for Mania for the WWE title, you're doing it wrong to me. You're absolutely unequivocally doing it wrong. So with that
spoiler
said,
alert, in that case, they're doing it wrong because it's never going to fucking happen.
And that's a fucking shame then. That's really a fucking shame then, because this is a guy that can take the ball and fucking run with it. I'm going to be truthful. He's everything that I think they always wanted in a character like a Muhammad Hassan, but like with none of the blowback, dude. None of the fucking blowback. Fucking use it. It's his time. But anyway, speaking of time, it's time for you to tell us who your number one on your WWE Fave 5 is.
Here's a little bit of a spoiler. Before
Okay.
Name, I want to see if you can maybe guess it. I'll give you, 2 or 3 chances. I don't want to go too long.
Of course.
Somebody that you've already listed for yourself. Now, I won't say whether it's somebody that's on your list or someone that was in your honorable mention, but it is somebody that you have already listed.
It's got to be Roman Reigns, right?
Damn right it is. It's the tribal fucking chief. Hell yes.
Dude, take it fucking away. I'm excited to hear this.
I don't know if you heard me last night, because we were on the phone when we were constructing these lists. I said I never thought I'd see the day that this guy would be number one in WWE. Did you hear me say that?
I did, so that's who you were referring to. That makes perfect sense.
Yep. Never thought I'd see the day. It blows my mind that he is this fucking good, but his matches have been great. Can I just point something out, by the way?
Oh, dude, this is your time. Go off.
No, I'm saying, no, like, I feel like this is something that we haven't really fully appreciated and we maybe haven't even realized until now. Roman Reigns had to cheat to beat Jey Uso.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's right. Holy shit.
Yeah, dude, like, the low blow kick out was invented against Jey fucking Uso. Like,
wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the dude that beat the Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, I think. Or no, he beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania. He beat Brock Lesnar at some other show. I don't even remember what it was.
SummerSlam, I believe it was.
Yeah, okay,
a year or two ago.
But yeah, this dude beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania. He beat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam for the Universal title at one point, I think. And like, here he is needing to cheat to beat Jey Uso because it's just a completely different character, and I fucking love it. Because like dude, the promo that he cut on Drew McIntyre was scathing. Oh my god, it was vicious. Talk about venomous. Holy shit. Yeah, Roman is easily, and I really genuinely do mean by a wide margin, the number one performer that I look forward to seeing every week in WWE on the main roster. Like it's really not, like, I love Sami Zayn, but he barely gets to do anything compared to Roman. Like, Roman gets so much, and he's making the most out of it now because he's finally able to really be in his zone. Yeah, man, Roman is just really fucking doing it for me. His confidence is through the roof. He's oozing that, like, king shit. Like, yeah, well, yeah, it's arrogance, but it's like, is it really all that unearned? I don't know, because I feel like he's pretty fucking great at what he does right now. He's really, like, in that zone that very few performers ever find. And to me, like, keep the Universal title on him for another 7 months. I don't really give a shit. Like, he's amazing. He's earned it at this point.
Dude, I love it. I think you said everything perfectly. I already talked about Roman earlier. So I'm just going to say my number one is Sami Zayn.
Well, I kind of figured that would be the case. That's who I figured.
And yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. I just want to address most immediately because you did have a line in there. You are right that Sami doesn't get as much to do as Roman. But I just love the stuff that he does. Yeah. Like, I love...
But I think you're also much more in touch with Twitter and with what wrestlers are tweeting, and you're, like, keeping up with Zayn a lot on Twitter, and that probably has an influence over you being such a fan of his and having him higher than me on your list, because the only tweets that I really see from Sami Zayn are the ones that you retweet, which I would imagine is a lot, but definitely not all.
I mean, dude, that American Way tweet, I must have quote tweeted it like 3 times. Like, I could not get over that. Like, he said that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Even keeping it to the quarter, every time he talks, I listen. I love that he's like a Toriano, but not even like in an endearing... Well, it's endearing to us, but, like, it's not meant to be endearing in presentation because he's a heel. Had the most inventive fucking finish in a ladder match I've ever seen. Yes. And in 18 years of watching wrestling, I've seen a lot of fucking ladder matches. Blew my goddamn mind. Yeah, and to me, the creative finish is the way he tied up Apollo, you know, on taking off the ring apron and then just tying him up to get the count out victory. Like, yeah, he's a guy that's like, why should I have to risk injury when my brain is my greatest asset? And you know what the crazy thing is, and I hate to say this, but I'm just going to be honest, because God knows I miss talking about this dude on my fucking lists. I've always gotten the impression that Kevin Owens loves wrestling more than Sami Zayn does, and yet Sami Zayn, I feel like, overall is the better wrestler. And again,
dude, you just made me realize something.
What's that?
Sami Zayn in the ring is everything that guys like Chris Nowitzki and David Otunga should have been in the ring.
Absolutely. Absolutely, dude. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Like, I didn't even have, just to get back on my prior point, like, I didn't even have Kevin Owens in my honorable mentions.
Yeah, and I realized, like, that was I didn't even realize that. Holy shit.
I miss caring about Kevin. I really miss him. But, like, again, a lot like Morrison, it's like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, they've killed him being a face not once but twice, and it's such a shame because I know you're sick of those two interacting, and I still think they need space apart. But imagine if they really built up Kevin as a babyface and they kept this energy with Sami as a heel when they would eventually bring them back together, because you know they're going to unless one of them gets released. How amazing that would be. Like, both these guys at the height of their alignment finally colliding rather than just, oh, they're available, let's use them. You know, and it's like, god damn, man, because Sami's pulling his weight. I'm not saying Kevin isn't. I mean, again, you can only work with what you're given to do, and they're not giving him shit to do. But Sami, like, whatever they give him to do, he'll spin it as, oh, well, you know, figures, right? Americans, you know, being against the Intercontinental Champion. They don't like that I don't just represent them like Bobby Lashley. I represent all the people. I'm the people's champion. Which almost makes me wonder if WWE's trying to get Rock for WrestleMania to do a segment with Sami Zayn. Which... that would be one time where, for everybody talking about how great Rock's mic skills are, and I definitely think they've waned, you know, with the passing of years, if Sammy would be able to be off the leash, he would eat Rock alive. And, like, for me to say that, like, I genuinely believe it. I think he would just have to spit some truths about America. Like, how is Rock going to cover that up? You know, besides being a fucking apologist.
Dude, are you serious? He would just insult Sammy personally because he's, like, small and smarmy and shit.
Well, yeah, and that's just it. But, like, he wouldn't be able to address the content. Like, again, if Sammy was able to go off the leash.
Like, we've got to remember, though, that, like, wrestling promos aren't debates. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can go after your opponent's credibility. You can attack them.
Right.
You can literally just make fun of them, and that's exactly what The Rock would do.
But I guess more what I'm trying to say is, with Sammy constantly referring himself as People's Champion, I wonder if it's just going to lead to, like, a segment or a confrontation. And
Bro, that reminds me of that fucking Hulk Hogan thing. He got one on Sami Zayn a little while ago that was hilarious to me.
Oh, yeah?
He said something about how he was, like, the biggest, greatest wrestler of all time, and then he did, like, a squeaky voice, Sami Zayn. Fucking...
Yeah. So I fucking adore Sammy. I think he could hold his own with Rock on the mic. You know, if there is a confrontation coming with him constantly calling himself the People's Champion. I doubt it, but, you know, we'll see. We never know with WWE. And like I said on Twitter, which everybody came back like, oh, Roman would destroy him. I don't give a shit. If Sammy decides like he wants the Universal title, I'll tell you what I would want to see happen. One, for the upset and Sammy to win, which I know isn't going to happen. But two, I would want him to turn Roman and be like, Roman, you're a Samoan. You know they have like a violent history of being colonized, right? You should say fuck these people. Like, come on, let's team up. Let's fucking take down the U.S. war machine. I would fucking live for that.
You know, that's a tag team that I could get behind for sure.
See, because like I think my new dream now that I've gotten more interest outside wrestling and everything, my new dream faction isn't a bunch of shoot wrestlers. Oh no. No, my dream faction is like strictly anti-American, but like with depth. Not like the un-Americans when they did Christian Storm and Test, all solid workers, but people that are un-American and with genuine reasons that aren't afraid to list them, especially in this time. Like, you say you're proud to be an American, yet you won't even wear a mask for your fellow Americans. That's the kind of energy I fucking want from an anti-American faction. Anti-American, anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist, which will never fucking happen because it's a rightist corporation. But God, if that ever would, easily my faction of the year. I wouldn't even care if they had a winless fucking record. I would be all about it. I'd be like, keep spitting that truth. And Sami Zayn is showing us the way. So, with that said, we just rounded out WWE, so now we go to NXT, and I think I'll continue with the ball because you did honorable mentions first, so I'll do honorable mentions this time. You ready?
Yep.
All right, honorable mentions for me for NXT.
Actually, wait. Oh, no, yeah, me being stupid. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Breezango, Pat McAfee, Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Leon Ruff,
Nice.
Io Shirai, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, Dexter Lumis, Walter, Ilya Dragunov, and Swerve.
Wow. Okay.
And I went backwards on that, by the way. I should know I went backwards on that.
Oh, okay, okay. So Swerve would be like at the top, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry about that. So
No, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Honorable mentions for you for NXT.
Let's see here. I am also, I'm going to kind of do what you just did. The same thing where I start from the bottom and work my way up to the closest to making the Fave Five. Aoife Valkyrie, Raul Mendoza, Adam Cole, Dexter Lumis, Santos Escobar, Kyle O'Reilly, Finn Balor, Timothy Thatcher, and it broke my heart to leave her off the list. She is a very special honorable mention to me, but Ember Moon.
Very, very interesting. Okay.
Are you like mentally trying to figure out who the rest of who my Fave Five could possibly be?
Well, yeah, because I was honestly shocked. Honestly, Ember Moon didn't shock me in honorable mentions. You know who did shock me in your honorable mentions? Fucking Thatcher, because you've been swooning over these segments that he's done. That's amazing. All right.
He's still pretty high up there, but yeah, man, he's...
I can't believe he didn't make the cut. Well, that just makes me curious who did make the cut. Number 5 for me, Cameron Grimes.
Wow. Dude, I'm just going to let you know, he fell for me as well.
Oh my God, dude, this quarter really hasn't been kind to him. I told you last night when we were on the phone constructing our list together they are so lucky he's a good talker, because like that's what keeps me gripped. Because if it was just based on what he's doing, they've made him look like a goddamn joke, and I think he's one of the best in-ring workers that NXT has. Who is this Valkyrie, by the way? Like that you mentioned.
Valkyrie from the fucking Woke Queens.
Oh, I didn't even know. Like, is she on NXT UK? And you just went back and watched some clips?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I should have done that shit, because she really is a good worker. I'm happy you had her on there. I thought that's who you were referring to. I just needed confirmation.
Yep.
But yeah, Cameron Grimes, amazing promo. I think is a future mega babyface, honestly, like Daniel Bryan level with his look and his likability. There are even times that I'm sure if you made somebody listen to a Cameron Grimes promo, you couldn't really exactly tell if he was a heel or a face. Like I keep thinking about after that takeover with the North American Championship ladder match, where he just said, like, I'm not going to give up until I go straight to the moon. Like, yeah, that was when I was like, holy shit, if they ever decide to turn him, just let him go. It really dispirits me how far away he is from the North American title, and certainly he's like light years away from the NXT Championship. I want them to get him back on track, but I'm really starting to worry that they just see him either as a comedy wrestler or as like a Dolph Ziggler type performer where he's really good, so we can use him to get other people over that we prioritize.
Yeah, that seems to be the case right now.
And like, I really just want to go to NXT and I want to smack everybody upside the head so that they can recalibrate their watches, because last I checked, it was fucking Grimes time. So fucking get on that. Who is number 5 for you? Let's get into your list, man. I'm really excited about this. Who cracked it for you?
Yeah. My list is I'm happy with my list. Again, I wish I could have fit Ember Moon onto it, but I just couldn't take anyone off of it for her. I'm hoping that she'll crack it next time, though, because I think she'll kind of get into a bit of a groove, maybe challenge Io, that kind of thing. So we'll see. Hoping to get Ember onto it next time, but she didn't. She just barely missed it this time. But the reason that she missed it is because I could not put her above Shotzi Blackheart at number 5.
Very interesting. All right, talk about it, man.
Yeah, that's like she... just these last 2 months, because I feel like she's become almost like NXT's favorite hostess, because she has now hosted, I want to say 2 different shows. Or no, you know what? It's not hosting. She did host Halloween Havoc, and that was cool. But she also has become NXT's preferred way to announce epic things, because she did announce Halloween Havoc and then hosted it. But she also announced War Games. And in announcing War Games, she also kind of announced, I think she announced that she would be a part of War Games, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Right. So she's not going to be hosting that, but she will be a part of, hopefully, a War Games match, I want to say. So that's going to be a lot of fun. She's just really been really good to me. Like, her matches have been great. I love her buddy other. Really, in this case, it would almost have to be Shotzi turning on Io, because I feel like Io wouldn't turn heel again after everything. So yeah, man, I have just really loved she's fun. She's energetic. She puts a smile on my face. She's an amazing, like, she's a really fucking good worker. Like, I feel like she is one of those women that, like, doesn't work super fast, which, you know, would help, I think, but she doesn't necessarily need to, because what she does has meaning. She's a really good worker. She has really good psychology. She's really good at making what she does make sense and making it be meaningful. And I think that's all really, really important. So I just have really become a big fan of Shotzi. If you wanted to ask me who I thought the better in-ring worker was between her and Ember, it's Ember by far. But I think they're both good workers, and I think that Shotzi's personality and her promos just put her over the top for me. I just prefer her overall as an entertainer right now to Ember, although I do, again, hope that Ember will be able to make her way onto this list in January. So we'll see, but I've got Shotzi at number 5.
All right, well, this might as well be a baton pass, because Shotzi was my number 4.
Oh, shit, nice.
Yeah, pretty much ditto everything you just said, and I reiterate that I can't wait for her to be on a takeover and have a takeover moment, either winning the championship or successfully defending it, because I honestly think, because I've been thinking too, beyond the 4 horsewomen, who would be a really big WWE star for the women that, like, we could all agree upon, the company and us. Mm-hmm. And I would like to think Shotzi's a candidate. I really would, dude. I would really like to believe that they could look at Shotzi and be like, you know what, she's alternative in terms of her aesthetic, you know, the green hair and the tank and everything. Very kid-friendly, I feel like, again, with the tank. Badass in the ring, so you appeal to the more, like, aged fans. and just a very endearing performer. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about Shotzi because I think you gave an excellent exposition of why she is so fantastic. But yeah, Shotzi was number 4 for me. So, carrying on, who was number 4 for you?
Carrying on, I feel like we're almost on the same page here because you had Shotzi at 4 where she was my 5. I've got Cameron Grimes at 4 while he was your 5.
Wow, I can't believe he not only ranked for you, even though he fell off for you, but you actually ranked him higher than I did, and I know what a big Cameron Grimes fan I am. So,
yeah.
Talk about it, man. Talk
well,
about
dude,
it.
Here's the thing. Like, I think I maybe just kind of accepted that he's going to be used in that Ziggler role before you did, in the sense that, like, I think you're still kind of fighting it. You're still like, no. He can still be a big star. He can still be a big star. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to enjoy him for what he is. And that is basically that, like, gatekeeper type. And I want him to be successful, no doubt. I would have fucking love it if he would challenge and win a title. But I'm not expecting anything at this point. Like, my expectations for Cameron Grimes are basically in the same place as my expectations for Mustafa Ali, which is like, I don't ever expect them to really do much of anything, so I'm going to enjoy when they get time now that I can when they get it. Because I fucking love the comedy that Grimes has been doing. Like, yes, the stupid shit with the zombie ref has annoyed me, but I don't blame that on Grimes. And I think that the Haunted House of Terror match was fucking hilarious. He carried the shit out of that. And he's still just such a great worker. And I love how, I don't want to say cowardly, but like, it really is like, I love how he was all like, I think it's a character work thing. I think it really is just like character work. Because I love how he is not scared of Loomis, but he is scared of Loomis when he stares at him. Like, he's scared of Loomis staring at him. And like, that freaks him out. So his solution to that was to put a bag on his head. Like, I think it's hilarious. Like, Grimes is sitcom funny to me in an era where sitcoms are dying. So Grimes really brings something to the table that, isn't really around that much anymore. So I really appreciate him as sort of the comedy role that he's been in. Plus, like, I haven't forgotten how much of a fucking technical genius this dude is, how goddamn clean and smooth and crisp he is as a wrestler. And I do look forward to him being able to show that side of himself more. But for now, I'm just enjoying the entertainment while he's providing it.
You know what? That's fair, man. I think that was beautifully said. And I think one day I will get to where you're at. It's just, it is still kind of hard for me because I do look at that brilliance. But I do agree with you, though. He killed that Haunted House match. I didn't know Loomis had a sister. Like, dude fucking kills me. All right, so moving right along. Number 3 for me, Ember Moon.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
What can I say, man? It is amazing to me that she had the injury that she did, which took her out.
Yep.
Like, and
she missed over a year.
Over a year, was fearing retirement, and I don't know if she's ever been better than she is right now. I love the confidence. I know she said Ember's Law was corny, and yeah, definitely kind of is, but I love the attitude of, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want because I am Ember Moon, and like, it's time I started feeling a bit more entitled. Again, another person shedding the skin of just happy to be here. Her having more of a strong style approach to her offense is so welcomed, and it's so good. That's really on it, to be truthful, dude. That's one of the big reasons why I want her versus Io, because I know Io can do like those shoteis and stuff like that. I want those two to have a sequence where they're just chopping each other for 5 minutes or forearming each other. I want them to have that kind of sequence in their match. I visualize it, and it's so fucking good. Can still do the Eclipse like a boss. Her submissions are crisp and clean because she's experimented with those as well. She's just, I can't believe it, because normally I always am so terrified of injuries because it's like, oh no, you know, you're going to be worse or, you know, your aesthetic's going to be off. She looks amazing. She works amazing. And honestly, I mean, I was hearing a report recently that Aleister Black apparently floated around the idea of going back to NXT. No matter what our qualms with the brand are, and they are valid and they are, you know, considerable in number at times, you know, I think the reason why these performers want to go back there is because they know that they can breathe and they can do shit. And, like, yeah, Ember definitely brings an air of credibility to the division. It's almost like they're telling this story with her where, like, she's changed, but so is the locker room, and she can't just presuppose that, like, everything around me froze, but here I am. I'm at my max power level. I'm going to be champion easy because Dakota Kai's already beaten her. And, like, that kind of headcanon in my mind is the only reason I've been able to look past that. But, yeah, dude, she is so fucking good right now. I'm so happy that she got to do this. I'm so happy that she still gets to compete. And, like, yeah, I freaking love it, man. It's so good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just wanted to be concise about that. Who is number 3 in your honorable mention, or excuse me, in your Fave 5?
Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Okay. Number 3 in my NXT Fave 5 is also somebody that you've mentioned already, but he was at the top of your honorable mentions list, and that is Isaiah Swerve Scott.
I'm so happy one of us still gave him the love that he deserves. Go, man.
I mean, his name should be Isaiah Swagger Scott because he's got fucking boatloads of it. Like, he's special. I really hate that he is pigeonholed into the cruiserweight division right now. I love Cedric Alexander, but Swerve would be so much better in the role that Alexander's in right now. Like, put a fucking suit on him. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, Swerve to me has the stuff to be one of those smaller guys that becomes a top guy in the WWE. Like, he has the stuff to fight through all the bullshit, to make the chicken shit out of chicken salad, to really just rise to the top like the cream of the crop. He is that goddamn good. His talent is on another level. I love hearing him talk about real life because, like, he has a podcast, Swerve City, and it's great. And I just have a great appreciation for him both as a person and as a performer. He's an amazing in-ring talent, and not just amazing in the sense of like, oh, he's really technically sound, but like special. Like, he's different. He's like, you know how I feel like all the greats get called unconventional in the ring? Swerve is unconventional in the ring in a good way. And like, Austin was unconventional in the ring. Cena was unconventional in the ring. Hogan was very unconventional in the ring. Swerve, though, I feel like all those guys, maybe unconventional was used as a word to kind of make up for the fact that they were maybe a little clunky or maybe a little sloppy, or, maybe they didn't move quite so well because they were stiff as a fucking board like Cena and Hogan were, that kind of thing. With Swerve, it's the exact opposite. He's unconventional because he is like superhuman smooth. It is ridiculous the way that this dude maneuvers his body in ways that most people don't even know is possible. He blows my mind in the ring. He's just so good on the mic. He's fun. He's got swag to hell. He is smooth on the mic, smooth in the, like, he is Isaiah Smooth Scott. He's just so good, and he's really found his way into a place where I don't know if he's ever going to not be in a Fave 5 of mine, even, if he gets relegated in some way, because I've just really grown to love him as a performer overall.
Beautifully said, man. I'm going to say number 2 for me, and I can't believe it. Only an honorable mention for you, Timothy Thatcher.
Wow.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like, because you know what I think really made him not only get on the list, but to get on the list very high, was a comment that I made, which, God, that sounds so narcissistic that I convinced myself of something. But, like, given the climate that we're in, with pro wrestling and everything, I love that his heel character is, wrestling coach that takes liberties with his students and just punishes them because he's sadistic. Because, like, what do we think of, right? We think of, like, the Bill DeMotts and shit. And turning that into a character, especially in the wake of speaking out, not only is it ballsy, but, like, it is effective, right? And, like, he makes it work. Like, this dude loves wrestling, but you can even say that, like, he loves wrestling because it's just the most perfect legal way to beat the shit out of someone. And I love that about him. I absolutely love that about him. I think he's got an amazing look. I mean, in a way, his look is almost like Benoit-esque because we know he doesn't have, like, all of his teeth. Like, he's the modern-day Toothless Aggression. Now is Thatcher. His wrestling is crisp as shit. Mm-hmm. Everything he does is so clean and proficient. I've said before, too, and this is another comment that really got my gears turning, he's WWE's answer to Suzuki. Now, obviously, Suzuki's like a fucking legend and a Yakuza boss and like all that stuff. So obviously, I would want people to appreciate the context of my statement. But as far as a guy that can make like your product look real and like he's really fucking hurting somebody, Thatcher's great. Thatcher's a guy to me that because of the legitimacy he brings, he could probably lose, 10 straight matches. And if he would win one to become number one contender for Finn's NXT title, I would be worried for Finn just because of how fucking badass he is and how he knows how to work different body parts. Because he's done seminars on like arm bars and fucking guillotines and this and that. It seems like they might be getting ready to do something big with him if him and Ciampa do this tag team, which I think... Are they facing each other tonight, by the way? Do you know? Ciampa, Thatcher, is that happening tonight?
Yes, I believe it is. You know what? Why don't I look it up? You keep talking, I'll look it up.
Yeah, so like him working with Ciampa, obviously they're getting ready to do something, I won't say huge with him, but they're getting ready to do something with him. It doesn't say. I'm hoping it does happen because all
that it does say is that we've got Owens on commentary, we've got Ember versus Candice, and then the Pete Dunne versus a member of Undisputed Era in a ladder match to determine advantage in War Games.
Yeah.
That's okay. I think that's my biggest pet peeve of NXT outside of the product itself is their absolute unwillingness to advertise everything that's going to be on their show, or at least most of what's going to be on the show. They're like going out of their way to be cryptic and withdrawn about what's going to be on the show, and it's so annoying.
Apparently, Thatcher's facing Kushida tonight. I hope he makes Kushida tap out. I know he won't.
I mean, I really think he should. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand that Kushida is coming off of like a decent sized push and stuff, but I feel like Thatcher's in the middle of a push right now. Kushida's cooling down a little bit, and look at the fucking size. Like, I'm sorry, but if Kushida beats Thatcher tonight, I am going to be really, really pissed.
Well, that's why we got Heat of the Night, baby, because we'll be doing a formal review of NXT at 10. But just to finish this off, to give you back the ball for your number 2, Thatcher is a technical savant, and I mean that in the best way. He's why I love catch wrestling, and he's keeping the tradition alive. And honestly, if this man were to become North American champion in 2021, since I've kind of given up my hopes on Grimes for the moment, that would be an amazing thing to happen to that championship, and it would really get a distinction of being like a workhorse / wrestling championship. I fucking love it. Thatch can all day, every day, baby. So
that's fucking awesome. Yeah, I will say, like, Thatcher technically didn't make my list, but he could have been as high as 4, I think, on my list. Because, like, for me, like, really, my top 3 were the only thing that was really set in stone, and then my numbers 4 through 7 were all like kind of bunched together. Like, I wouldn't go as far as to say necessarily interchangeable, but like kind of interchangeable. So sure, like Thatcher, Moon, Blackheart, and Grimes were all kind of lumped together for me. And then my top 3 is like solid top 3, like Swerve at number 3. And is it time for my number 2?
Yes, it is.
The fucking Giga Chad, Pat.
I love it. Go, man. This is all you.
Never in my life have I enjoyed a wrestler or a performer in wrestling faster than Pat McAfee. Never has anyone ever just shown up out of the blue with next to no experience and immediately become a favorite of mine. Never has this happened before in my life. Not once. Every time that there's ever been somebody that showed up and I was an immediate fan of, it was because I had some prior experience to them, or I did some research on them, or they at least had a bunch of experience and were really, really good in the ring. McAfee has none of that shit. McAfee is decent in the ring. He can tell a good story, but he's not a great worker. He's not a great wrestler. But holy shit, this man's promos. I think this really does show you that I care more about promos than in ring, because, like, I do think it's important to have a certain baseline of in-ring. Like, you have to be not dangerous, and you have to be not, like, you just have to be competent in the ring. But if you're just competent in the ring and no better than that, and you're a fucking incredible mic worker and an incredible talker, I think Enzo Amore was a good example of this too, because Enzo was an incredible talker, and I was a big fan of his, even though he wasn't that great in the ring. Like, he was pretty good at selling, but, like, you know, that's, even then he fucked up sometimes. But, like, at the end of the day, I was a big fan of his. I fucking love Pat McAfee. Like, the energy that this dude brings when he shows up, the, like, I own the world and it owes me something still energy that he's got blows my mind. I fucking love. And the thing is too, like, we know that this isn't the real him, that he's playing a character, and that makes it even better to me because he's so convincing. Like, he's really, really good at this, and it feels like something that he's been doing for long. And like, I even was telling you, John, last night as I was putting this on my list, like, it is so wild to me that, 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I was typing up my NFL superlatives to be like, here's the best player at each position in the NFL. And a guy that showed up on that list is now showing up in a wrestling Fave Five for me. That absolutely boggles my mind, because McAfee at one point was legitimately the best punter in the NFL. And now he comes in and he is number 2 on my NXT Fave Five. I just fucking love the dude. His energy is amazing. His promos are amazing. I don't think that his one match that he's had so far with the one with Adam Cole is even a part of this grading period. So this is based entirely on promos. That's how much I love his promos.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's fucking awesome. And speaking of awesome, God, I love putting this whole Fave 5 list together.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know who your number 1 is.
Santos.
Oh, wow.
Escobar. Greatest cruiserweight champion ever. I don't know if Foster's here. Foster, you and I can have words and hopefully some hugs, because god damn, son, you are beautiful.
He definitely brings an air of credibility to that title that hasn't been with it since at least Murphy.
Yes, dude. Yeah, like, I want to refer to something that Javaris said, and I know for a fact Javaris is here because he had a message very recently. Because he mentioned how he wants Escobar versus Finn, champion versus champion, for the NXT title at TakeOver. And I'm like, you know what, Javaris? I see it on the marquee. I'm playing it in my mind. And I even told Javaris in the chat in that same recording, the only cruiserweight that I would believe challenging Finn Balor for the title.
Yes.
Like, dude.
Well, actually, Swerve.
Swerve too, to be absolutely fair, so too. But honestly, dude, given that Escobar is a heel and that Swerve's a face at the moment, yes, still the most believable, even if only by alignment right now.
Yeah.
Like, he's so good. Like, you were just talking about how you love McAfee's promos. Santos is not a bad talker at all.
No.
Even if they do like more cinematic promos with him, but I even feel like his live stuff has not been bad at all. His cinematic stuff is great. You put that dude in a suit, like, it's become like a trope on NXT TWitWoWs, where I'm just like, and I make the whole swooning sound. But yeah, like, the dude's fucking dressed to the nine, handsome as shit. And again, he's that heel handsome. Because there are like, where it's like, oh, he's a good looking dude, but I bet you I could attain that. No, Escobar is the unattainable. You will be humbled. You will be humbled. You will look in the mirror and know that if your best day coincided with Escobar's worst day, you still ain't shit. Like, that's what I love. Javaris said for him, Santos is the best cruiserweight champion since fucking Pac, excuse me, because that is how it's pronounced. And yeah,
I mean, he was in WWE at the time, so we could just call him Neville.
There you go. Since Neville, yeah. And I love him, dude. I love Legado del Fantasma. I love that faction. I love that this dude, because not only is he a credible cruiserweight champion and like, oh, look at me, I'm holding it for a long time and I'm having defenses, but qualitatively, the matches always have me gripped. Even against people, like, he makes me care about people that I really have just been kind of mad about, like Jake Atlas. Their title match, because of everything he had to overcome and all that stuff, I freaking loved it. The mask, filled with courage and tradition, had me fucking die. Like, this fucking dude is so confident in his own ability as a heel that he's like, hey guys, I'm going to take something that reeks of the 80s and make it fucking work. Yeah. You're welcome. King shit. Yeah. Fucking king shit. Alright? I know, like, LA and all that stuff. Fuck you, Ray. You can't even protect your children from the goddamn business. This whole storyline's been a disaster.
Dude, when you said El Rey, I thought you were talking about the fucking network. I was like, yeah,
fuck them too. Thank you. Fuck them too. Like, Escobar is El Rey to me. Like, he is the king. Oh my god, dude. Dude. Like, I know it'll never happen, so that's why, again, we say, right? Like, temper your expectations, compartmentalize, etc. it is a fucking crime that WWE is the kind of company that it is, just prejudicially with its aesthetic and everything else, because there is no reason, dude, why I shouldn't in the next 3 to 5 years be seeing that man walk down to the ring in a suit with the WWE title over his shoulder.
I agree.
No reason. No reason.
I agree, yep.
No fucking reason whatsoever.
Him versus Swerve is a feud that could happen at literally any level of the company. You want it in the Cruiserweight division, it works there. You want it in the mid-card, it works there. You want it in the main event, fuck you, it works there too.
The TakeOver proved that. The TakeOver proved that these guys could main event pay-per-views, and I would be in it. Dude, that TakeOver, you've heard me say multiple times, I need to see them wrestle again, and I need Swerve to get the Cruiserweight title, because I do love Swerve. I adore Swerve. Oh my god. And, like, Santos is such a compelling heel that, like, don't get me wrong, guys, I don't want to be very careful with my language here. Like, Swerve winning the Cruiserweight title at any point would have been cool because it's Swerve. Swerve winning the Cruiserweight title off of a legit heel that's amazing at what he does and has the best suicida in the fucking business today, if not all time, which I know is more of a debate. Like,
I don't know, dude. I think all time is a pretty fair statement right now, honestly.
Yeah, like Swerve beating that guy for the Cruiserweight Championship after he's made it mean something, that is better for Swerve and Swerve fans long term. Anybody else end Santos' reign, it's a crock. They did it wrong. Because, like, that pair is a fight forever pair, and keeping it on Santos, every time I say that dude's name, it is sex in my mouth, and I'm grateful. I am grateful.
John's out here getting face fucked by facts.
Yes, and I'll do it again. To bathe in this man's radiance is a privilege that I, for all of my ego, don't deserve. And I feel like I'm better than at least 70% of the planet. Like, god damn. Fucking adore this dude. Another uncrowned WWE champion if I'm really making a list. And just, I know, again, I really wish Foster was here, because I'd really love to pick his brain on this, but for me, as the most casual 205 Live viewer, I mean, hell, only we would if we get paid to view, which Foster graciously did recently. Best Cruiserweight champion I've seen. Like, easily. What he's done for that title, I don't think people will really be able to fully appreciate as they should.
He carries himself like a world champion, even though he's holding like a tertiary championship.
Thank you. That's it. I'm handing it back to you because you just closed my sentiments better than I could. That is Santos Escobar. Okay, so who rounds out your list, bud? Let's do it. Let's go.
I don't know what you're talking about. My list is easy to round up because it's the same person I've had at number one for so long now. It's Io.
Oh, yeah.
She's just the best. She's amazing at what she does. And, like, it's one of those things where I keep looking for excuses to not have her at number one, and NXT keeps giving me reasons to keep her at number one because, and well, not just NXT, but really her. let me put it this way, actually. NXT keeps giving her opportunities to give me reasons to keep her number one, and she keeps knocking them the fuck out of the park because her match with Rhea was so fucking good. Her interactions with Shotzi are always great. It's Io Shirai, man. She's the best female wrestler on the planet right now.
Yeah, dude, her promos especially for me, just to make a quick thing, because, I never like to talk long on people on your list. Her promos for me have really been what's opened my eyes. Like, I know she was an honorable mention again, only because, again, the five, like, I'm really vibing with these people, but Io's fucking amazing. Like, she really is the NXT Women's Champion. I totally believe her with the title. Her promos have been, like, top tier, just, the confidence she oozes. Yep. Amazing. But you can continue going, dude, because now we're on New Japan, and you can open up honorable mentions here.
All right, again, starting from the bottom of the list, Master Wato, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Zack Sabre Jr., Great Okan, Taichi. Never thought I'd see the day he'd make a Fave Five, but he's not really. He's still an honorable mention. Juice Robinson, Shingo Takagi, Hiromu Takahashi, Tetsuya Naito, Kenta, Sonata, and my top honorable mention that didn't make the list, Show.
Our honorable okay, well, I'm just going to go through mine. Again, I'll do starting from the bottom. Might as well just make that the rule now. Show, Tanahashi, Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, Shingo, Okada, Hiramu, Naito, Ibushi, and Ishii.
What?
I told you, dude, this is the craziest list I ever did, but I'm really confident in it. I also think it's one of the best. Ishii did not make the cut. I'm just going to be honest now, since I'm sure people are demanding an explanation and maybe sharpening their knives. I was a bit
I'm not
underwhelmed.
sharpening my knife, but I am definitely sitting here impatiently waiting for an explanation.
I really wasn't that enthused about Ishii's G1 this year.
Wow.
I feel like normally he really shows out, and I feel like my top, I really feel like my 5 was really G1 heavy, and those were the people that I just enjoyed watching most in the G1, just to kind of tip my hat to who made the cut. So yeah, like, I love Ishii. He'll always be our pupper, but I guess you could say that I'm kind of putting him outside on this one.
Wow.
So yeah, well, don't get that tone,
well,
sir.
You phrased it in a way that made it even worse.
Well, yeah. So who's number 5 for you on your New Japan Fave 5?
Jay White.
Amazing. Talk about it.
I mean, you want to talk about the G1? Let's talk about the J1, right? He fucking owned the G1 climax. He had, I would say, maybe even the best overall performance of the entire G1. Maybe second or third, but like, he had an amazing G1. He is an amazing human being IRL, from what I know. His promos are super on point. I just love Jay White, man. I've really become a tried and true Jay White fan, even though, like, I don't necessarily constantly root for him to win everything the way that, is it Super Blue or DBK? I think it's Super Blue, right?
It might be. It might be.
No. Super Blue's the one that roots for the guys that suck. So it is DBK. So, like, I'm not, like, rooting for him to win everything the way DBK is. I want more of, like, a, disciplined build up through the ranks to the top, rather than just catapulting him to the top. And right now, I obviously don't love him more than 4 guys, but I love him more than just about everyone else. So yeah, Jay took my 5 spot.
God, I love that casual snipe you did. Oh my God, you're wonderful, sir. Number 5 for me, it's game over for everyone else. It's Kenta.
Kenta!
He was so good, this G1, dude. In fact, I can't speak for you.
Not even just G1, really. Like, even since the G1, the stuff that he's been doing has been great.
Oh my God. Well, dude, I was even going to say, I would never speak for you, and thankfully you're right fucking here. I feel like he had a better G1 this year than he did last year. And I'm talking about, like, record-wise.
Yeah, my God, yeah. By far. I feel like his G1 last year was almost disappointing.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, this year, with him being heel and him really being in the rhythm of New Japan and everything, it's night and fucking day, man. Like, it's so good. And, like, when you hear him talk about it, because I think you even showed me, like, it was either an Instagram video or something talking about how much more he's wrestling and how happy that makes him. Like, I just never forget that. I never forget how grateful he is to be here.
Yeah.
And I've always said, Kenta before the injuries, to me a Japanese wrestling legend. And I know that word is heavy, but I would legitimately fucking use it when you look at the quality of his matches and his rivalries and stuff like that with, oh God, who the fuck am I thinking of? Who's the big rival that we always talk about? Marufuji.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were talking about a partner or a rival. Yeah, because I was going to say Shibata, but yeah, Marufuji's the big rival.
Shibata, they were the big tag team. But I think Marufuji, like, his feud was very innovative for wrestling. Like, I really do think he's a trailblazer in a lot of ways. I mean, hell, Brian's Knee Plus comes from Kenta. So, he's an innovator. To me, again, a Japanese wrestling legend.
Dude, he really is an innovator, too, because how many people now do we see use that Busaiku knee kick?
Yeah, exactly. And so, it would be easy to be like, oh, when Kenta was healthy, like, he was so good. And he is. Like, I recommend to anybody, if you've never seen a Kenta match before the injuries, watch any Marufuji match. It'll blow your fucking mind. Just to give you a context how much it blew my mind, it had me openly debating if Angle Benoit from Rumble 03 was still my favorite match of all time. Like, that's how fucking insane those matches were. But Kenta, at this stage of his career, it's more character-based, and he's a great... Dude, he's fucking funny. Like, I love listening to this dude talk. Like, I'll never forget the New Japan Strong promo. I don't care about giving you a great match. Like, yes! Let them know! Let them know, King! Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, he's fucking wonderful.
That might have even been during this grading period too. That statement by him.
Yeah, dude, a great talker, great worker, nothing but respect. All day, every day. So, who is next on your list, friend?
Next on my list is somebody that was in your honorable mention that I acted all like surprised by, but he dropped a little bit for me too. That's Ishii.
Okay.
I think we have pretty much the same explanation here. He's still a fucking incredible performer. Like, I don't want to take anything away from him. He is I would argue, God, I can't really say that right now. I think that if he was pushed like a main eventer, he would be able to prove that he is unequivocally the best wrestler in the world. I think that when he's allowed to kind of show off, I genuinely think that he's in contention for best wrestler in the world, and I think he might even be the number one. I also just don't think that we've seen everything that he can do, which is terrifying. Yeah, like, I think he's the only guy that's like this short, stubby son of a bitch. And we've said, like, if he would pull out a shooting star press, we would be amazed but not surprised.
Bro, if he pulled off a shooting star press, like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but, like, in the moment, I gotta be honest, I would probably message you on Facebook, but then I would, like, take my headset off and just go for a quick walk. Just, like, 2 minutes, just to be like, okay, and then come back to the desk and be like, so after that, dude, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So Ishii made my number 4. I feel like I have already sung his praises to high heaven in previous Fave Fives. Like, my favorite thing about Ishii is the way he sells, because he's really good at not selling for the longest time, and then when you do finally quote-unquote break him, selling it so well and so realistically that it makes his opponent and then immediately makes them look fucking amazing. Like, he makes himself first, like, by no selling and acting like the tough guy, and then he makes his opponent through his own credibility by selling after they've already gotten, beaten him down enough to the point that he starts selling. Like, he and one other person in New Japan do that style, and it is my absolute favorite selling style. I fucking love it. I'm such a sucker for it. It's something that Kobashi used to do. Misawa did it. Sasaki did it. Like, it's hands down my favorite style of wrestling selling is like, I'm a tough guy. It's going to be hard to break me down, but once you finally do break me down, I'm going to start selling for you, and I'm going to bump and sell my ass off once that happens. And that's Ishii, and I love that about him.
I just want to tack on to that because you made excellent points, and I know it was way beyond this grading period, but I still think him versus Despy from the New Japan Cup was one of the best tournament matches.
Yeah.
How he sold
for that fucking
junior.
Well, it wasn't way before this grading period. It's just like 2 months before.
Right. But, like, the way he sold for Despy as a junior.
Yep.
King shit, man.
Absolutely.
I know I've been saying that a lot, but I guess there are a lot of kings, when you know where to look.
Yeah, I think the only person that I've said that about is Roman Reigns, which, I mean, can you really blame him?
No, not at all. I am fucking giddy about my number 4 because I cannot believe that they were an honorable mention for you. Because I actually, when I said that you influenced my favorite, you influenced it in 2 big ways. This is one, and then we're going to get to the other in just a few moments.
Oh, I know who it is.
Number 4 for me is Sonata.
I knew that. Yep.
The fucking Cold Skull. So,
dude, I'm going to be straight up with you. If he would have won the G1, he probably would have ranked on my Fave 5. But I feel like they're still cool on him.
Yeah. And you know what, dude? That's such a shame because I talk about how I love technical wrestling and stuff like that. Sonata broadened my mind about what that means. And I would say, too, and I'm trying to mean this as a huge compliment in the context of wrestling history, this dude is the perfected version of Randy Orton and Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that in the sense of he's one of the safest fucking workers I've ever seen, and yet he's entertaining as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's like weird for me to lump Orton in that when I just put him at number 5, but understand, guys, I even said explicitly, it's probably never happening again. Like, I enjoyed him for that period. For Sonata, I pretty much enjoyed him always, but only now am I like, no, this dude, like, really fucking good. And if you notice, like, I haven't even talked about the, like, talking or personality or anything. He's with LIJ. His personality's cool as shit, when I have heard him talk. But I really wanted to emphasize here why he made it. It's so fucking amazing in a company like New Japan where we see the gnarliest fucking shit. A guy feel like he doesn't have to kamikaze himself to get a pop. Like, I can work safe. I can do the slingshot, forearm, not even a full cross body. My skull end is a perfectly standard submission, but I get so much drama out of it that I can milk it over and over. How many times has he milked us with that hold, especially when he goes against somebody the caliber of Okada?
Yep.
Right? The moonsault, which is probably one of the biggest high-flying things he does, it's a moonsault, and it's a tribute to, Great Muta.
Who trained him?
Who trained him? That's right, who trained him. Sonata is and again, another big compliment. So my first big compliment was he was the perfected Bret Hart and Randy Orton. My other compliment is that Sonata is the blueprint for whatever wrestler should strive to be.
Yes.
A wrestling style that's just entertaining enough, but that you can actually have a career with functioning knees and a functioning head afterwards.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I hate to get that dark and that morbid, but let's look at our industry, guys. It's one where the body gets torn the fuck up. And no doubt Sonata may have his own lingering issues. No doubt about that. But he may be more spry than most. And that's what I'm hoping for him. This is a guy. I remember, dude, you once said about somebody in the NFL, and I wish I could remember who, but football. I was even about to call it baseball. Football has never been my thing.
Right.
But I remember you once said about one NFL player, they were a really smart player, because I think it was even a position with maybe a lot of contact. And you said they got out early, they made their money, and they're a model to the rest of the players. That's how I look at Sonata in wrestling. The way this guy goes about his business, and especially too, I think a model like Sonata is necessary, because who are the other models I've always pointed to? Fucking Brock Lesnar. Well, not everybody can be Brock Lesnar. I feel like Sonata's far more attainable. Yeah. Far more attainable. You go, you clock in, you work a safe style that's exciting, you get your money, you do it again. And guess what? Look how much space you have on your bump card. Holy shit. So now if you want to do something crazy, at a Wrestle Kingdom where stuff like that should be reserved, you can and not feel weird about it, because you have all this space on your bump card, because for the other 350 some days of the year, you work such a safe style. Yeah, this dude's a blueprint in every sense of the word. And I think, honestly, and I think I'm hoping for too much here, but I would hope that if Sonata would ever become the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, it would signal a cultural shift in New Japan. It would be the perfect blend of that Inokiism and the style that they're doing now. And I really do think he walks that line so well. So I'm only talking about him at length because I've tried to be economical with the rest of my commentary. And again, because he made your honorable mentions, I just really had to go to bat for him and just say how fucking good. I know we both think he is. And I'm just really excited for 2021 for him, because maybe finally he'll take off. He should be Intercontinental Champion in 2021, by the way. That'll be the last thing I say. He should absolutely win that title next year. And if he doesn't, I really got to start looking at New Japan in a certain way. So...
Bro, I love that our number fours were both somebody that the other person had really high in their honorable mentions, and we both kind of got a pulpit to be able to stand on and just talk about that guy extensively.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So who's next for you, brother?
Number 3 on my New Japan Fave 5 is actually a newcomer to my New Japan Fave 5. I don't believe I've ever had this person on my Fave 5 before, and I can actually confirm that by looking. Let's see. There he was an honorable mention. That was your honorable mention, your honorable mention, my 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 honorable mention on your list, my honorable mention, your honorable mention, and on my... Yeah, this is the first time this person's ever been on my New Japan list, ever.
Well, holy shit, let's hear it.
Kota Ibushi.
I knew it was going to happen one of these days. Yeah, talk about it.
Well, best performance in the G1, in my opinion. I think that Ibushi... I've been a fan of Ibushi really since Wrestle Kingdom at the least. I think you could say that I was never not a fan of his. But he really, really won me over at Wrestle Kingdom. And then that was he had one really amazing match, one really amazing performance, and he hasn't really been able to replicate it. And to be fair, he still hasn't. I still don't think that any of his G1 matches supplanted his Wrestle Kingdom match with Okada as my favorite Ibushi match ever. But here's the thing. His consistency and his ability to churn out absolute fucking classics in the G1 really, really won me over. I've always liked Ibushi, but this is the first time that we've done a Fave 5 that I can honestly say that I fucking love Ibushi. And it also, I think, has to do with us finding out more about his personality and how much fucking big dick energy this dude has and how shit. I absolutely love that this dude thinks he's going to live to 200 years old. And I don't know. There's something charming about that. There's something adorable about that. There's something terrifying about that. And I think maybe the thing that's terrifying about it is that I don't even feel like it's that inaccurate because, like, dude's almost 40 and he looks like he's 18.
Dude. When he's like, I want to be the first 200-year-old, I'm like, huh, seems legit.
I mean,
like,
not for a mere mortal like us, but for Ibushi, maybe.
Yeah, dude, I love your energy right now, man. I am living for this shit. But yeah.
I think it's weird because I think my New Japan list this time around was really heavily influenced by, I don't want to say memes because that's like almost like discrediting it, but like entertainment value more than just like, oh my God, strong style, work, choppy kind of thing.
Right, yeah, exactly. I totally get that. I'm so glad Ibushi made your list. That's why he was very high in my honorable mentions.
Yeah,
like
he was literally like, if we were going past 5, he would have been 7th for you.
Exactly. So he definitely would have made top 10. He's fantastic. So moving right along, number 3 for me, and this feels so good too. Fucking because this was kind of like my Ibushi in a way. I think Jay White.
Oh,
Jay
nice,
White cracked
nice,
top 3 for me, dude. I don't know if Jay White's ever been better than what he is right now. Like, that's why he honestly made my list, because his character, I think, has always been solid. His promos have always been solid, although I've enjoyed him even more on the charisma front. Him trying to get the crowds to, like, break their silence for the pandemic, which, yeah, it's kind of a dick thing to do, but it also shows the immense trust that Jay White has in people, which is almost kind of endearing. Like, I know I'm going to try and work these people, but it's not going to work. The partnership with Geto continues to be entertaining, especially, again, this cycle with the Bullet Club Civil War looming. And, you know, when Yujiro fucking low blowed him and tried that shit, and then Jay's looking at Geto like, did you know about this? No, he's crazy, man. He's like, yeah. I love it, man. And dude, like, again, when I say I don't think he's ever been better, his moveset and how he fucking works in the ring, he is fucking snug as a bug in a rug, daddy. It is so crisp. His sequences are and again, it's not an overly complicated style. And
dude, I feel like he almost by himself revived the sleeperplex from death, because I really never saw that move before he started doing it. And now we see Konami doing it too.
Yeah, dude. And you know what else? Like, some of the stuff I said about Sonata as a worker, I really do think you could copy paste to Jay White.
Yeah.
And like what I love too, and this may be a bit hypocritical of me because, you know, I really didn't care for it, you know, with Tama Tonga, and I don't care for it. You know, we're going to get Stardom in a minute with some Stardom performers. But the way that Jay cheats, it works me in the right way. It really does. It works me in the right way. I never get annoyed like, oh, God, Jay, do you have to do this in every match? Because you expect
I think that's how I would put it, too. That it's like it's working you, but it's in the right way. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I get into it, especially because, again, when you see the babyface kind of turn the tide, like when fucking Ibushi will fucking heart punch Geto or whatever, like, yeah, it works. He's so good. And honestly, I know a lot of people were angry about, you know, what happened with Ibushi, even though they did rectify that and we know what's happening in Wrestle Kingdom. Let's be real here. This is Jay's Wrestle Kingdom in the main event, and they were always prepping him for this moment. To be fair, I didn't think it was going to be this year. I mean, at one point I thought I did, but then when he lost, I'm like, okay, it isn't. I'm actually really glad that it's 2021 that he's finally going to main event a Wrestle Kingdom. Because, like, when you look at his story, he debuts at Wrestle Kingdom facing Tanahashi. The Wrestle Kingdom after that, he faces Okada and he beats him clean.
Yep.
It's almost like he's facing the 3 pillars of New Japan, because if Naito gets beyond Ibushi, then it'll be Tanahashi, Okada, Naito. Like, it's a great fucking story, and New Japan...
I forget, he lost... Did he lose to Tanahashi, or did he beat Tanahashi?
He did lose to Tanahashi, because that was for the Intercontinental title.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
Makes sense.
But he beat Okada clean. And
then he beat Okada again in the G1.
Yeah, and he beat Okada again in the G1. So, like, when you look at the story of Jay White, it's only natural that his trajectory would take him to the main event this year. And that's why I'm so happy or not this year, but, like, next year. Because it just makes so much sense. Like, what do you do at a Wrestle Kingdom after you've already beaten Okada clean? You fucking main event. So, I'm 100% with New Japan on this. And that's nothing against Ibushi. If you notice, I did not put Ibushi down one time. It's just a matter of looking at Jay's character narratively speaking and just saying, like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. That makes absolute perfect sense. The only hiccup I've seen with New Japan in their storytelling was with Evil this little bit. And even then, maybe I could look past it if they are going to do a Bullet Club Civil War kind of thing. But Jay White main eventing wrestling, it's where he's always belonged. And I think the dude's only like, what, 26, 27? Yeah. He's still young as shit. And especially by New Japan standards and the way that he works, I could legit see this dude go in like another 15 years. Like, I love it. And then just one final note, he's totally reassessed my opinion about perving knives. Because if that's what perving knives does to you, holy shit. I mean, I know my sister, she's...
You can start a religion on that.
Oh, hell yeah. My sister, I know she's like prepping for Thanksgiving. Happy early Thanksgiving to everybody, in case I forget to say it during our NXT review tonight. And I know, like, the knives have kind of gotten dull, and Chris is like, oh, he's got to sharpen them. But, like, yeah, if perving with knives does this... I'm side-eyeing my butter knives. I'll tell you that right now. So who is next on your list, brother? Let's keep this going.
Bro, you know when we watch New Rock Stars, how they always have like their sponsors that they talk about?
Yeah.
So one of the most common ones that they talk about is the Ridge wallet.
Okay.
And like, I actually looked it up. Dude, that shit's $80.
Holy fuck.
I know, it's such a waste of money when you could be using a money clip.
Oh my, you son of a bitch.
That's right. Okada is number 2 on my Fave 5.
You know what was so perfect about what you just did? Is because I'm so used to you having random thoughts at like the worst times when we're in a flow. So I'm like, Ashton gonna Ashton. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And you were working me the whole time.
Damn right I was.
Jesus Christ.
Damn right I was.
God damn it. Okay, so Okada, I'm guessing you've really been loving him lately if he's this fucking high on your list.
Dude, oh my God, I need to shut up. Okay, so I need to not shut up because I need to explain this. So here's the thing. After Okada lost in the finals of the New Japan Cup to Evil, there was a huge wave of people coming out of the woodwork talking about Okada sucks. Okada's only good in long match main events. Okada can only do this. Okada can only do that. He's a one-dimensional player. He's not good at this. He's not good at that. There were people that were going as far as to say he's sucked ever since Kenny Omega left. There were people saying that he's not been that good for 2 years now, etc., etc. And then we get the fucking G1. And this motherfucker abandons the move that he made his name off of and proceeds to give everyone their best matches. This dude gave Taichi the best match I've ever seen Taichi have. This dude consistently... This dude gave Ospreay one of the best matches I've seen Ospreay have, and Ospreay's been in incredible matches. Okada, without the Rainmaker, has proven himself a top-tier worker, and I dare anybody to doubt that fact at this point, because it is a fact at this point. Because if you honestly are disingenuous enough to try and pretend, and at this point you are pretending because you know in your heart that you're not actually believing this shit, that Okada's anything other than a top tier worker, you, my friend, are delusional.
Yeah. I hope Angel's still here because I think we'd all be saying facts.
And speaking of Angel, I was genuinely considering Okada at 1 on this. That's how much I have enjoyed his work in this period.
Amazing. I fucking love that. You said it better than I ever could. Number 2 for me, I'm going to be really brief about this one. Suzuki. I'm going to be brief because I've sung his praises so many times on here. But I know you guys come here to hear new stuff. So what could I say? Oh, I have an idea. Best G1 run from him I've ever seen since we've started covering New Japan. Best counter to the Blade Runner I've ever seen in an armbar that made Jay White tap out like a bitch. Yep. And is there something else? Oh, yeah. Here's where I'll stick a pin in it. La Mystica fucking Sleeper. Who's number 1 for you?
I'm going to do Suzuki.
Do you have anything that you would like to add?
Bro, the last 3 words that you said before throwing it over to me is all I need. This dude is 52 years old, and he did a La Mystica into a sleeper. What the fuck?
Don't fuck with this man, people. I keep hearing stories about people wanting to shoot on Minoru Suzuki, like, Pancrase, like the whole MMA. And I'm like, why are you like... The Tide Pod Challenge is safer than this fucking shit. Why are you so eager to throw your life away? What are you doing? Yeah, dude. We've said it before. I will cry when that man retires, and it'll be the manliest tears I ever fucking shed.
I'll cry twice. I'll cry once when he retires and once when he dies.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's another Ibushi and he lives to 200 and he outlives both of us.
He can. And I hope, I will just say one more thing before I move on to my number one, just because, God, I didn't really want to stay on.
I know, I already am 100% certain who your number one is. Do you want me to sit with you when we get there?
Yeah, well, you know. So,
okay.
3, 2, 1.
Juice Robinson.
Holy fuck. Easy. So quick pin with Suzuki. I actually hope it's 3 times that we cry, because I do agree about the dying thing. I still hope for a day world title. Yeah. Give that man a 1-month reign. I am begging the fucking gods.
Fuck, give him a 1-day reign. Let him win it on Wrestle Kingdom Night 1 and lose it on Night 2. I don't give a fuck. I want his name in the goddamn record books.
Amen, brother. Fucking-men, brother. And with Juice, I'm also going to try and be equally economical, but at the same time not, because up until G1, I hadn't seen him. And I fucking missed him so much.
Yeah.
And dude, again, a lot like Ember, how the fuck did you get better since I last saw you? Because the offense really hasn't changed, but the look did for the better.
The presentation, I think, overall, not just the look, but overall, I think the presentation has improved significantly.
Oh my God, his crowd control, dude, is insane.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh my God, bro. And dude, like, can I just say, I don't mean to be like rude or feeling myself in that kind of way. I'm kind of low key getting a little tired of people sleeping on him as one of the best promos in the company. Because like, and I only say that because if you look at like his backstage like comments, like a lot of people in the YouTube comments will say, you know, I never realized just how good of a promo Juice is. Welcome. We're happy to have you. Get on fucking board. This dude, because look, I'm gonna be real with everybody, right? And again, no like weird turn up shit that I know I'm known for. Why I'm so against baby faces, even though that is making a comeback, by the way, I should note, it is making a comeback for me. But why I was against baby faces for the longest time is, to be perfectly frank and to be perfectly blunt with all of you fellow grown adults, cut the shit. Okay? Like, nobody's that pure. Nobody's that innocent. The world's on fire. Okay? Juice reconnects me with something that I thought died. Because he really is, he swears, and I think he's got a tinge of lewdness to him, you know, the whole Juice Robinson, you know, all that stuff. But he's got a purity to him and a sincerity to him that, like, is so rare that I honestly, personally, haven't experienced with such an intensity since Yes Movement Brian. And, it's beautiful. It's really, honest to God, beautiful that a guy can just be like, and he said in interviews, look, I'm not going to be the work rate guy. I'm the Bret Hart guy and this and that. And let me tell you something. Like, if that really is true, if that's Juice's mindset about the business, then that tells me that there would have been gems for me even in the 80s. Because I always tell you guys, I never went back and I never watched, like, the golden age of WWF, you know, like, I never watched that. And if there was a character like Juice on there, it would have had me hooked every Monday night. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. I mean, this is a dude where, again, I don't know if it'll ever happen. I really hope I see the day where this dude main events a Wrestle Kingdom, and at the very least, I hope that there is a day where this man becomes Intercontinental Champion. I would fucking, you want to talk about crying again, wrestling making me cry? I think another thing would be Juice becoming World Champion, because this dude went from CJ fucking Parker to IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and if that's not an inspiring story, I don't know what the fuck is. This dude, I'll put it this way, and again, just being perfectly honest and perfectly vulnerable with all of you, we know how horrible the wrestling industry is. We got a big look at that this year. If anything ever came out about Juice, it would break my fucking heart. I would not believe in anybody anymore. I would be like, you're all like into the sea with all of you. He's one of those guys that, like, I understand through the child's eyes, the way that, you know, Benoit was for me as a kid, that you want to be better because you see that person being the best that they can be. That's Juice Robinson.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. That like you watch him and you watch how he believes in himself and you watch how he's good to other people and you watch how much he loves what he does. If that doesn't make you want to be a better person, like when I was a child watching wrestling for the first time, coming from a fucking shithole, like he's amazing. He's amazing. I miss Juice immensely, so of course he's the number one spot.
Yeah.
But now we move on. I have been most excited about Suzuki was your number one.
Yep.
We move on to the list I was most looking forward to, and I start out with honorable mentions this time. It's Stardom! Oh my god, dude, we're doing it. Okay. Honorable mentions, and I actually did a legit list this time, guys. I didn't try and cheat, although I really wanted to. I'm going to start from the bottom and then move up. Saki Kashima, Mayu Iwatani.
Wow.
Starlight Kid, who really, she's close. She's closer than she's ever been, honestly. Tam Nakano.
Wow.
And then here were the two tough ones, the really tough ones. Saya Kamitani and Julia. Actually, the three tough ones. I skipped one. I apologize. Saya Kamitani, Himeka, and then Julia. Really tough, dude. Really tough. Who are your honorable mentions?
I'm going to do the same thing, work my way up from the bottom, all right?
Of course.
Rina.
Okay.
Hanan.
Okay.
Unagi Sayaka.
Okay.
Maika.
All right.
Julia.
Awesome.
Gokigen Death.
Okay.
Saki Kashima.
Excellent.
Saya Kamitani.
Okay.
Riho.
All right.
Starlight Kid.
Very nice.
Natsupoi.
Okay.
Please Don't Kill Me. Konami.
Fair. That's fair. By the way, I apologize to everyone. I actually forgot that my honorable mentions went on to the next page. So really to start at the very bottom was Hanan, then Rina, then Maika, then Natsupoi, then Saki, and all the other ones that I listed. So I did forget those four at the very bottom. I do apologize. I misread it. But coming in at number 5 for me, I can't fucking believe this. What a story. Momo Watanabe.
Oh, dude, I'm just going to jump the gun. She's my number 5, too.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, because I know we did retire the rule of jumping the gun, but in that case, it's okay since she tied for us.
Yes.
I'm going to be quick then. I love her technical proficiency.
Dude,
I love
you don't
her
need to
strike.
be quick. We have her in the same spot.
That is true. I love her technical proficiency. I love her striking ability. I love how obsessed she is with being world champion and only 19 fucking years old. And she's just in the perfect faction because she embodies everything that Queen's Quest is all about. The idea that we began our Stardom reviews with me having a bit at her expense, and now I've just grown to embrace her and love her unequivocally, and really just grown to love QQ. Oh my god, Queen's Quest. Momo's fucking amazing, and Momo Oz was one of the biggest gifts to me this year, watching those two tag. And Momo was a big part of that. The Samato she did in the fucking finals was the fastest Samato I've ever seen her do. I thought she took a fucking head off. This woman's ability is undeniable. I adore her. And to even say that I adore her again, that's why I said, what a story. Momo finally cracks the top 5 for me, coming in admittedly at number 5, but you made it, kid. You fucking made it.
Yeah.
Talk about Momo some, dude. Put some respect on that name.
Yeah. So for me, Momo, again, it's like you already said, it's an amazing story because neither one of us were really big fans of her early on. I think the match with Mayu and then the promo afterwards, and I think also like the trios run, the artist run with Azumi and Utami, all kind of worked in her favor to win me over. And I think that like the full like, okay, I'm a Momo fan now moment was that promo after the Mayu match. Where she talked about I'll chase you forever and that kind of thing, like how that hurt and all that stuff. Like it was so emotional and so heartfelt and so real feeling. It was just so good. And that to me is really what sets her apart, is that like it almost comes off as like a Truman Show situation where it's like, does this girl know that she's like performing in a show and this isn't real? Because she's so good at making it feel real, you know?
Yes, I love that.
I think that's what's special about her to me, is that like she really invests herself into it to the point that you forget that she's performing. You realize, like, you forget that she's not genuinely doing this like sincerely and like completely in reality, and you forget that this is a work, and it starts to feel real again. And I think that's special in wrestling.
Yeah, dude, I love how you express that because I think that kind of goes along with what I just got done saying about Juice. You know, those people that really make it transcend for you.
Yeah.
That's
exactly. Yeah, and like
amazing.
I think, I guess to kind of give you an idea of how much I love Momo, I was rooting for Mayu to retain so that Momo could be the one to take the title off of her eventually.
Yeah, that's right.
So
I love it, man.
Big fan of Momo. I really want her to win the red belt within the next year, and I would say within the next year or two. But if we get to this time next year and she still hasn't won it, I'm going to be feeling really fucking impatient at that point. So I really hope it is within in the next year.
Absolutely. Number 4 for me, moving right along, is Shuri.
Ooh, oh, damn, you've really grown to love her.
Dude, fucking, like, you know what sealed it for me, honestly? She had a photo fucking finish. Not that she was, like, in jeopardy, but it was more like thinking about what place she would be. And then when I think about my top 3, that seemed very right to me, and I can't wait to unveil the top 3. But, like, this woman calls B out. Like, I don't suck. You suck. But, hey, you know what? Let's settle it here. Let's settle it right here. And she whooped that ass. You know how endearing that shit is to me? You know how much I wish there were more baby faces like that laid down the gauntlet and then actually fucking carried it through? That's why everybody wants to be a heel. Because, like, and I'm not even saying Shuri's a heel right now because I do think DDM's turned a corner and they become more endearing to people. But, like, holy fucking shit, woman. You called another person out, and not only did you beat their ass, right? You did it by making them lose consciousness. I joked on the last Stardom recording we did. B's own consciousness was like, I'm going to head out. Like, I've had enough. I've had enough. Her strikes are proficient. I got to be honest, too. I am a softie at heart. I think you guys have figured that out. I think you guys have really seen, like, oh, my God, this dude wasn't kidding when he said he was raised on fucking Lifetime movies. Because Shuni's promo, more or less dedicating her title reign to her mother, fuck, that destroyed me, man. That, like, she's so sincere. I think Stardom has a huge fucking gain with her. Because here's the thing. Here's why Shuri's invaluable and why us getting older and being more, as you said earlier, to use your term, in the know. Not everybody has to be a world champion. And I used to be salty about that reality, but now I kind of affirm it. Because if Shuri never wins the red belt, which if she did, I'd pop for the record, she will always be that menacing gatekeeper to the title. That's what Shuri should be to me. I will kick the shit out of you, literally and figuratively, and if you can endure it, then maybe you deserve to call yourself a potential red belt champion. Like, they have got a legitimizer in them for the next couple years, however long, Shuri and them do business. Because she is so legit in there. She beat the fuck out of Mayu. Hell, in a way, maybe you could even say, Mayu losing the belt is attributable a bit to Shuri because they never stopped interacting with each other and they have great chemistry. I feel like she's one of those people that can have a great match with just about anybody. And again, she's a lot like a Thatcher type and a Suzuki type where because of her offensive style, everything she does is just so believable.
Yep.
So yeah, Shuri is in great places with me right now. And I love watching her compete. It's a fucking privilege, but I'm very curious who is next on your list. It's all you, bud.
So I'm gonna shoot my shot here. I'm gonna point at the fucking crowd right before I'm up to bat to show where I'm gonna hit this ball. I think we have the same number 3 and the same number 2, and I think I know who your number 1 is too.
Okay.
Number 3 for me is Utami Hayashishita.
We do have the same number 3, yes.
Then we have the same number 2 too. So Utami, I mean, as much as I want to say that Momo is the queen, because Io did kind of pass that baton on to her, you can't argue with double champion, one of which is the biggest prize in all of Joshi right now, the World of Stardom Championship. Utami went out and she beat the ace. Arguably becoming the ace herself, maybe? I don't know. I think she really needs more longevity to call her that, but she entered her name into that hat, and that was not there before. Utami won the 5-star Grand Prix, and I'll go even further than that. Utami is the most dominant 5-star Grand Prix competitor, arguably ever, because she just does not lose in the 5-star. Like, even this year, I want to say she lost 1 match and went to 2 time limit draws. In the first ever 5-star Grand Prix that she was in as a rookie, literally entered the tournament like 2 weeks after debuting. she had the most points and lost to Mayu in the finals. And that was their last singles match. And she already, I guess it was around 2 years later, actually, redeemed that loss by beating Mayu for the world fucking title. Like, talk about a full circle story. That feels like some Rossi or some ghetto shit. That 2-year booking angle thing, like how start Utami, we have her lose to Mayu in the finals, and then 2 years down the road she beats her for the world title. That is some complete ass storytelling. I love that Utami is really the complete package. We were talking about this yesterday on our Stardom reaction. Utami could be an ace anywhere. Utami could be an ace in Seedling. Utami could be an ace in Pro Wrestling Wave. She'd be the ace in Oz. She'd be the ace in Ice Ribbon. She'd be the ace in Sendai. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. She is ace material. And I think as long as Mayu's around, I don't think Utami's going to supplant her as the ace. But she did just supplant her as the red belt champion. And like I said, kind of put her name in that hat of who the ace is. And I think at the end of the day, she's a complete performer who can do literally everything. She has the look, she can talk, she's great in the ring, she has the power, she can do drop kicks and more athletic stuff like that. She has the submission game. Like, she is a 5-tool player. There's nothing she can't do. She's just that damn good. She's fucking awesome.
I think you said it all perfectly. There's not much I really can add. I'm so happy for her that she's at the top of the mountain. She's so goddamn good. Like, Jesus Christ. Power and technique. And when you synthesize it as well as she does, you've just got, again, like you said, just such a complete performer. I hope she has a very prosperous reign. And bow down to the fucking queens, baby. I fucking love watching Utami compete. So do you just want to give your number 2 then?
You mean our number 2?
Well, who do you got?
Azumi. That's
not my number 2.
I think I know what that means then. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Azumi is my number 2. Holy shit, dude. Really? Wow. Because she wasn't mentions either. So holy shit. Yeah. So fuck. And yeah, Azumi's amazing. And she only got, I think she was my number 1 last time we did this, actually. And the only reason that she got supplanted is because I realized how much of a fan I was of somebody that I maybe wasn't giving enough credit in previous Fave Fives. But like, yeah, Azumi is fucking amazing. 18-year-old prodigy. She's been wrestling for half her life at this point at 18 years old. Or at least training, she started training to wrestle at 9 years old. Like, we've kind of addressed that. It's ridiculous. But anyway, she's an amazing worker. She's a great personality. She's a great talker. She checks all those boxes. I can't fucking wait for her match with Meiho Shizuki. I can't fucking wait for her match with Natsupoi. Those are both going to be bangers. Her matches are never bad. She's always on point. She rarely botches, and when she does botch, she knows how to improvise to make up for it because she learned that old school style of this isn't a fucking ballet. This is, more of like a fucking improv show. She's really good at making up for mistakes when she makes them, which is rare. Yeah, I think I'm done. John, who's your number 2?
Konami.
I fucking knew it. Holy shit. Okay.
Oh, things are happening, brother. Things are happening.
Wow.
The ground technician, fucking badass.
The submission sniper.
I feel like her being Ono Edo Tai is kind of her final form in a way. Her aesthetic is on point. Something straight out of a Mortal Kombat fucking video game. The sooner she becomes the white belt champion, the better. I feel like that's her kind of story. Her and Tam are very similar. That I think some of their most emotionally resonant stories revolve around that championship. And Jesus fucking Christ, what an innovator of submissions. I think the triangle arm lock really is my favorite submission today. Unfucking believable. She's a genius. She's a fucking prodigy. I never want her to get headbutted again. Please, God, no. Yeah. She's only maybe she's 24 now, but she's got so many years left to give. Please don't burn them all away. You can have so many innovative matches. You can really be an innovator. We talk about people that innovate moves for the next 5, 10, 20, sometimes 20 years. Konami, I think, has innovator potential. That's the biggest compliment I can give her. I think the stuff that she does and how she does it, I really believe that for those that especially are into Joshi wrestling, especially women coming up, I really hope that Konami influences future generations, and I definitely think she has the power to. So, with that said, who is number one on your Stardom Fave 5?
You see the picture I posted in chat?
Let's see. Oh my god. All right.
Dude,
that's really cool.
Stardom is so fucking good at foreshadowing.
Yes.
Because I don't know if you remember watching this with me, but the 2019 costume change battle royal, guess who played Oedo Hazuki?
Who?
Saki Kashima.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, they both came full circle.
Unbelievable.
Oh yeah, and there was also a point I want to say that B did did the costume change of someone in Oedo too. So there was like a foreshadowing there too. But I'm gonna get right to it. My number one is the only woman that I would genuinely say has an argument that they are a better worker in wrestling right now than Io Shirai, and that's Mayu Iwatani.
I love it.
Yeah, dude, Mayu over the last couple months has really made me realize, like, this woman is legitimately one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. Like, it almost took a few months ago Jackie being like, oh, she kind of lucked her way into this, for me to realize, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this woman is a freak. Like, she is freakishly athletic. She's got an amazing look. She's superhuman flexible. She has way more coordination than she lets on. I still, and that's the other part of it too, is that I'm still not entirely convinced that the ditzy character isn't something that she puts on as like a wrestling character. And like, I'm wondering if it's something that she kind of adopted and is just really fucking good at playing, to the point that it's convinced everyone that that's just who she is at this point. But even if it isn't, it doesn't really matter, because she is just goddamn amazing. She is, I mean, fuck, dude, she makes German suplexes look like death, right? Like, she is this weird hybrid of Okada, Naito, and Ibushi in the form of a woman. And like, I think she's the only woman, and this is kind of comes back to what I was saying about Utami, because I said like Utami could be an ace just about anywhere. I don't think Utami is an ace in TJPW, because TJPW is more of like a lighthearted, funny, comedy, cutesy promotion. Utami would probably get positioned more on like the undercard in TJPW, like Mirai Mayumi, who is another like powerhouse prospect along the lines of Utami. But Mayu, I don't give a fuck. Mayu has the cutesy side if you want it. Mayu has the power side if you want it. Mayu has the high flying side. Mayu might just be the most athletic woman in the industry outside of Bianca Belair. Like, I feel like her raw athleticism goes so overlooked because of her character of this like klutzy, cutesy, ditzy, oh, I don't know, woe is me kind of girl. And it works so well that people forget that she is an incredible fucking talent. And I'm not allowing myself to forget that anymore. So she's number one for me.
Love it. Number one for me. Asami. We need to talk about this, because you actually are the reason this happened. And I'll tell you why. Because if I'm not mistaken, the last 5v5 we did, Asami was your number one last time.
Yes.
And I'll tell you something, man. When you were talking about why that was, and you gave all your reasons, the only thing I could feel when we went off the air was regret.
I knew that. I knew you were going to say regret.
That I didn't join you there. Because fuck me if this girl is not fucking brilliant at what she does. Okay. So Konami's great. And I have no doubt that she'll regain number one status. And she had an amazing quarter. Oh my god. Menacing, badass, whatever. But Asami is everything just so right about pro wrestling. To be that prodigious, to be that fucking gifted, and that young. I mean, I even said, and I'll do a fucking call out. They're not going to fucking hear it, so fuck them. Zack Sabre Jr. wishes he had the cleanness and the crispness that Asami does. Like, because here's the thing. Zach will try and do these crazy submissions, and sometimes it gets a big pop. Other times it's a bit messy. Azumi is clean virtually every fucking time. And I would argue that when it isn't, it's less on her and more on the person taking the move, personally. She did recently.
Because they can't keep up with her.
They can't keep up with her. She did that move recently where she runs along the ropes after like being Irish whipped and does a crossbody. She did one of those recently that was so fast and so fucking perfect. I had to do a double check. Javaris is here. And Azumi was number one on his list too. How many times, Javaris, you can speak for yourself, how many times did Azumi leave you floor to their offense where you said, holy fuck, I've never seen anything like that, or holy fuck, what even was that? She would do that to me too, dude, because when she would get into submissions, and I would be like, what submission even? Oh my God, so it was the Rings of Saturn. Oh my God, you got into it that way? Azumi Sushi is an amazing fucking flash pin. Her double stomps, especially the double stomps where she clears the fucking ring, looks like she has just completely ruined your ability to enjoy food for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah.
Because she's devastated you. And above all else, because I am a philosophy nerd first and foremost, I'm going to quote a dear philosopher to me, Jean-Paul Sartre, the French philosopher of the 20th century, who says, I'm not interested in what a human being is, but rather in what they can become. And Azumi is the quintessence of that sentiment. I love who she is. I am tantalized by who she can become.
Yeah.
Because if she is not regarded as one of the best wrestlers in the world in 3 to 5 years, then pro wrestling is just dead to me. It's dead to me. We don't speak the same language anymore, and we'll have officially like broken up in that sense. Of course, I'll still watch it and we'll still review it, but I just mean in the sense of pro wrestling left me. I didn't leave pro wrestling. If Azumi is not regarded that highly, something is wrong here. Because not only is she a great in-ring technician, not only is she a great personality with an amazing look, she's a future world champion. She's a future faction leader. I mean, literally, it's just waiting for somebody to lead it.
Yeah.
And she's going to be the woman that even people that I fucking loathe with every fiber of my being, like Dave Meltzer, are going to have to acknowledge, hey, guys, if you haven't watched this woman, her name's Azumi, here's a match you should check out. I want the world to know what her fucking name is. And again, guys, you can thank Ashton for this, because when he was singing her praises, I wasn't angry at him. I was angry at myself because I'm like, I blew it. I should have been there. Because I always, it's one of my favorite jokes, just because I mean it purely affectionately. I always joke that we're kind of her wrestling parents in the sense that we cheer her on with everything that she does. And I feel like, again, keeping up the metaphor, Ashton went to the Little League game, and I just slept in. And I was angry at myself for that. Not this time. Not after the tag leak she had. Not after the 5-star she had. Not after the whole fucking run she's had lately. No. I would already say she's one of the best wrestlers in the world. I'm just waiting for the world to catch up. And oddly enough, of course they'd have to catch up because she's high speed all day, every fucking day.
Yes.
Amazing. She's incredible. She's absolutely like, I could talk about her for 2 more hours, but I know we still have another list, and I know I got fucking.
So, dude, I had a really weird realization while you were talking there too. My number 4. I skipped straight from my 5 to my 3 because I was so excited about us having the same number 3.
Oh yeah, who's your number 4, man? Let's talk about it.
My number 4 is Tam, actually.
Fucking awesome, dude. She's had such a good quarter.
Yeah,
really,
and like
quarter,
the biggest reason though that I wanted to bring her back up is to kind of highlight her and Mayu and what's been going on with them lately. And what I love about Tam is that she is the only wrestler that I think I've ever seen that goes out of her way to make sure that the audience knows how she feels about basically fucking everyone. And more often than not, she has pretty fucking intense feelings about almost everyone. Like,
yes.
At one point she absolutely adored Mayu, and now she's being hostile as fuck towards Mayu. And bro, some of the looks that Mayu has been shooting Tam and Mina and Unagi Sayaka's ways, Mayu's face acting alone is enough to help her get up to my number 1 spot. But yeah, Tam has really been killing it lately. Her matches with Julia are always amazing. pretty much all of her matches in the tag league, she pretty much had to carry because Mina's just okay and not great like she is. And now she's starting her own faction, which is basically based on like, we're sexy and we know it. Come fuck with us. I dare you. And it's working. Like, it's really fucking cool. And like, the Cosmic Angels are one of the most interesting things going on in wrestling right now. Not just because of like the fact that it's a new faction, but also because it's a faction within a faction, and they might end up like breaking off from the faction that they grew out of. And like, that story alone is super interesting to me too. So yeah, just wanted to give major props to Tam. And it also makes sense to go in this order too, because I am supposed to go first for this next one as well.
All right, brother, it's all yours.
Again, starting from the bottom, the bottom of my other honorable mentions, Miyu Watanabe. This is the pink muscle girl in TJPW who does the big spin, the big swing. She's fucking cool. Sari made my honorable mention. Hikari Noa, who is another TJPW girl. Mei Suruga is now on my honorable mention. She is primarily in Gato Move, but she actually did work TJPW a couple times, believe it or not, during this grading period. She worked the one show that you and I watched together, but then she's also worked a show more recently where she debuted a new gimmick in TJPW. She is now known as May Saint Michelle, I believe, or Michelle, or my I don't even know how to pronounce it, but basically she's a French maid who is learning under Saki-sama, which, like, fuck yes. Mizuki, Yuka Sakazaki, Saori Ano, who is like the one person in wrestling right now who I really, really just want to see more of. And I don't really give a fuck how I get more of her. If she ends up in AEW, I would watch her in AEW. If she goes to WWE, I don't care where she goes. NXT UK, I'm going to start watching NXT UK for her. Saudi Ano is like, I really just want to see her more because I feel like she always works shows that are really, really difficult to access, and it's frustrating as hell because I want to see her work more. I want her to be in my Fave Five, but I can't put her there without actually getting to fucking see her, you know? And finally, Shoko Nakajima is the person who was closest to making my Fave Five that didn't.
All right, for me, very quickly in honorable mentions, it's the shallowest pool.
That's fine.
MJF, Sari, Mizuki, and Yuka Sakazaki. There's always my Achilles heel on these, but I was able to pad it out a little bit. So who's number 5 for you in other?
Mei Hoshizuki.
Nice.
We've literally only seen one match from her, but that one match was enough for her to impress me to the point that I'm just like, I need to see more of her. She's incredible with how fast she is. And her inevitable match with Azumi is going to be a fucking experience. I'm very excited to see more of her.
Absolutely. Number 5 for me, I'm actually surprised she made the cut because she was an honorable mention last time, but she really, I'll get to why she finally made the cut. Hyper Misao from TJPW.
Dude, you missed so much. She almost retired.
Oh, what are you talking recently?
Yeah, literally like less than a week ago. She actually had like almost a whole show dedicated to her that was going to be like her retirement show. And then at the end of the show, some dude came out and was basically just like, you're good. And like there was like this whole story going on. And I think that she wanted to like retire and be a mom basically. And eventually she decided that she wanted to, or no, you know what? It wasn't be a mom. She wanted to retire and get married to another fellow wrestler, a guy that she's apparently been with for a while now. But she basically decided like, fuck tradition. I'm getting married and I'm going to stay wrestling.
That's amazing. Wow, I wish I would have known that because she might have even gone a bit higher knowing that. But, yeah, Hyper Misao, because I've been very honest and candid about my feelings on TJPW. I don't dislike it. I actually like the show that Ash and I watched together, their big show that they recently did. What I love about her, when you stop taking yourself so seriously, and I've called wrestling before, and I actually quite like this label. I've called wrestling blue-collar theater. And I think Hyper Misao emphasizes the theater. I love that Hyper Misao challenges, and you could maybe say that other comedy wrestlers do this, but I don't think anywhere near to the extent that Hyper Misao has, which is why I would even say, and I can't believe I'm about to use this word for her because I've tried to use it sparsely, she's innovative. Hyper Misao is an innovator because she forces us to ask the question. Look at me pontificating. I went philosopher mode for like a quote. Now I can't stop. But she really forces us to ask the question, what is a wrestling match? Like, what makes a wrestling match? What are the boundaries between when it becomes wrestling and when it becomes something else? Because she'll have matches where, what was the stipulation recently, Ashton? Like, you push a buzzer and then a new stipulation comes on the screen.
Yep.
Yeah, she'll have a match where it's like, oh, you need to complete this task before you can be eligible to do pinfalls. She constantly
You have to eat a bag of chocolate cream puffs.
You have to eat a bag of chocolate cream puffs. And, like, I really want us to just sit on that for a second. Because it's so easy to just treat it as comedy. Oh, ha, ha, Hyper Misao. But I think, like, if art is meant to challenge and push boundaries and treat boundaries as porous, like, seeping into each other, as fluid, as ambiguous, Hyper Misao does that for wrestling. And I don't think we appreciate her enough for that. Because, dude, for all we know, Hyper Misao could be on the cutting edge of what wrestling is in the next 10 years. You never know. I mean, entertainment changes all the time, right?
Yeah.
What if, like, she really could be innovating what we regard as pro wrestling and what we regard as a pro wrestling match. And I think for that reason alone, she deserves me on Fave Five. Now, looking at her, and less outside the meta commentary, which, again, I did want us to give pause to, she's a solid worker. I enjoy her. I enjoy her work. I really thought in the Cinderella Princess Cup thing, she was great there. She actually, I think, beat Yuka in a match, and that was a really good match. But yeah, I think ultimately, again, like, I think, again, it was the show that you and I recently watched where it was like pushing the button and they went through all sorts of steps.
Yep.
I'm like, I love that this woman really, again, challenges what we can expect out of a pro wrestling match. And I really think that Hyper Misao...
That was against Saki Akai, right? Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, the switching random rules match.
Exactly. And, like, yeah, there will be other comedy wrestlers after Hyper Misao, and I'm sure I would say the same thing about them. But for the moment, I think Hyper Misao is pushing the very limits of comedy wrestling and finding out, like, what exactly it can do. And the funny thing is, when you push something against a boundary, you don't really find out what's on the other side until you push it beyond the boundary. And that's
I remember there was a match that she had earlier this year against, I want to say Seina Shiori, which is the girl that wears, like, the blue or the lime green and purple with, like, the red shoes. And it was a match where Seina could beat Misao with a 2 count. But Misao, if she got a 2 count on Seina, she had to answer a question. And it was only if she got the question right that she could win. Otherwise, she had to win with a 3 count. And the questions were all about Seina. So it was like trivia about your opponent, like how well do you know your opponent, but also it was like kind of this innovative thing where it was like basically handicapping Misao because Seina is a rookie. And it was like simultaneously handicapping Misao so that it made the match go a little bit longer, but at the same time, it's also helping the audience get to know a rookie better, which is so creative and unique.
That's what I mean, man. That's what I mean when I say pushing those boundaries, making them more ambiguous than they used to be.
Yep.
Like, it really is a shame that, like, some of the most innovative performers come from, like, smaller promotions or promotions that aren't as well known. Because I feel like if you're, I call it tape trading, but we don't trade tapes anymore with the internet. If you're YouTube surfing, right, would be, I guess, the modern way of saying it. If you're YouTube surfing and you come across a Hyper Misao, you may not think much. But again, don't be surprised if in 20, 30 years' time, because all great changes take time. But in 20, 30 years' time, wrestling could look a lot like what Hyper Misao is doing right now. And we could trace it all the way back to her. So I really kind of wanted to do my own little meditation.
That was a very thoughtful Fave 5 entry. I'm really happy that you did that.
So who's next on your list, bud?
Well, from your dissertation to my simplicity, Miyu Yamashita is my number 4 because she scratches the itch that Arisa Hoshiki left behind.
Beautifully said.
I also want to mention she's got a fucking hilarious sense of humor. Like she does these talk shows called The Night, and it's not just her. It's like her and a bunch of other, like a lot of the TJPW girls do it. But Miyu just always stands out on these because I feel like she has the best personality and the most interesting character. And she's hilarious, and she is also like one of those people that's really easy to make laugh on top of her being good at making other people laugh. And she goes from that outside of the ring to being this complete badass ass kicker in between the ropes with literally the best looking kicks I think I've ever seen. Like even Arisa, like her Brazilian kick was just tops. Like that's number one all time, I think. But Miyu has some kicks that look fucking incredible. Her reverse roundhouse kick, it looks like she's decapitating someone. She has this kick that she does where she'll run into the corner, jump off the turnbuckle, and then springboard off the rope and do like a spin kick to the face. And it looks incredible every single goddamn time. So yeah, Miyu scratches a certain itch that I really don't want to stop scratching. I miss the hell out of Arisa Hoshiki. I wish she would come back. I hope she's able to recover fully from whatever injury she had, if it was a head or neck or whatever the fuck. I just hope that she's able to live the kind of life she wants to live. But I also hope that coming back to wrestling becomes a possibility for her and she decides to scratch that itch again as well. Because I miss the hell out of her. But until that happens, or even if that never happens, at least we still have Miyu. She's amazing.
Well said. Number 4, Mei Hoshizuki.
Yeah.
Azumi praising her the way she did in the interview, and Mei actually proving to be formidable to Azumi.
Yeah.
That's all that needs to be said. So, who's next on your list, bud?
Number 3. This is where we get to an interesting place because I really struggled with my top 4 here. Not because I didn't know who to put on it, but because I knew exactly who my top 4 were and I just didn't know how to order it, right? So Miyu came in at number 4, not because she's my 4th favorite, but because she just landed there out of the 4 women that I love at the very, very top of my other list. Number 3, Takumi Iroha.
Excellent.
I think a lot of what I said about Swerve, believe it or not, kind of applies to Iroha. Like, she is so different and so smooth and so explosive. Like, I guess it's not really the same as Swerve because with Swerve, it really is like a flexibility and a smoothness and a sleekness and a crispness. With Iroha, though, like, she is explosive as all hell. Like, she just bursts with her kicks. And off the rope, like she even hits the ropes different. Like I feel like she spent her quarantine studying the Great Muta and learned like his movement style and the way that he used to do stuff too. Because a lot of her movements really, really do make me reminisce of Muta. And you can kind of really see his influence in her, in my opinion. And her kicks are so on point. And she has this amazing, unique, and different look that, like, I almost feel like if she had stayed in Stardom, it would have held her back, and branching out and going somewhere else allowed her to really find herself. And her finding herself is the best thing that she ever did because herself is fucking awesome.
Beautifully said. Number 3, Maki Ito.
Ooh!
Not really much for me to say here. I think she could be one of the biggest stars in the world if WWE knew how to book Japanese wrestlers. I will always and forever picture her having a WrestleMania entrance where she sings to the crowd and they sing right back to her.
Yeah.
Her character's amazing. Her story is incredible. She's solid in the ring. And she's just the very best of pro wrestling when we really think about pro wrestling being character and talking based first. Mm-hmm. And you want to talk about me appreciating social media. Her social media game is something else. So who's next on your list, partner?
Number 2 on my list is somebody that I've been a fan of pretty much since the first time I saw her. But the last couple months have given me even more of an appreciation for her. Because I kind of went back and watched a match of hers from July, so maybe low-key cheating there. But also, she's been working TJPW more. It is Saki-sama, a.k.a. Saki Akai. She actually uses 2 different gimmicks. Saki Akai is the more babyface version. Saki-sama is like the French aristocrat. You know, she's fucking awesome, though. Like, I keep mentioning this whenever we see Lady C. Lady C needs to be spending all of her free time, watching Saki-sama matches because she is 5'10", just like Lady C. She is lean and like, you know, bean sprout as hell, just like Lady C. And she throws some of the most convincing strikes you're ever going to see from somebody that small looking. Like, she's tall as hell. Like, that lanky. We'll just put it that way. That lanky. She throws some of the most legit looking strike. Like, we always talk about Zack Sabre Jr.'s biggest weakness is his striking game because of how lanky he is. Saki-sama has reversed that. Saki-sama's strength, her greatest strength, is her striking game. Her finisher is a fucking kick. She uses big boots like it's nothing. Like, she really does have something special going on. And here is the really special thing to me. She's tall and she's got long legs, and like she uses all of her like her reach advantage in a great way and stuff like that. And her kicks are great, and her in general striking game is really good and all that. Like moves, whatever. This woman's psychology to me really stands out. And I just feel like every time I watch a match of hers, I find myself going like, whoa, she's really good. Why is she not a bigger, like, why do more people not know about her? She's so good. And it's never like, oh, wow, that boot looked really impressive or anything like that. It's always like, oh my God, she's doing this thing that I've always wanted to see wrestlers do that is like logical, that nobody does, that it pisses me off when they don't do it because it's like, why would you not do this? And like the way that she strings moves together in ways that just make sense, and the way that she's able to kind of attack her opponents in ways that are like logically sound and stuff. Like I feel like her psychology is the thing that really sets her apart from the other tall girls in Joshi, and that's why she made number 2 on this Fave 5 for me.
Fantastic. Number 2 for me, Miyu Yamashita.
Nice.
Fucking killer. Some of
great,
the best.
Great job pronouncing the name, by the way. A+.
Yeah, I really listened to you when you said it because I figured you'd talk about her. So yeah, her strikes are fucking lethal. Some of the best strikes I've ever fucking seen. If she would ever have a Stardom run, I love Utami, but that would be a genuine threat to her title reign. Miyu just has such energy of do not fuck with me right now, because every day is a bad day to fuck with me.
Yeah.
I love her. She's fierce. She's just so fucking crisp. I keep using that word a lot, but those are the workers I like best. Those that do their shit and do it clean and do it well. Miyu exemplifies that. And yeah, just very privileged to see somebody of that caliber, compete in the ring. So who is number 1 for you? I think I have an idea.
Yeah, it's the same woman that was number 1 for me last time. It's Maki Ito. Really, I feel like there's not much that I can say now that I didn't say in our last Fave 5 when she was number 1. She was actually number 1 overall for me in my master list last time. That's not the case this time, but she's still pretty high up there. But really, I just feel like Maki Ito is the living embodiment of the millennial generation. I really do. We've been through so much, man. We've been through some shit. We got handed a really terrible card, a really terrible hand of cards. And we either deal with it and just like try and ignore it the best we can, or we do what we can to make the most of it. And like, that is Maki Ito in a nutshell. She is the fucking embodiment of a generation, and I will never stop preaching that.
Beautiful, man. I love it.
Plus, like, low key, one of the best sharpshooters best cloverleafs I've ever seen in my life. And like, she's one of those women that gets like, not necessarily shamed, but like she catches way too much flack for not being a fucking technical savant, when she has an amazing looking cloverleaf, and she's a genuinely great, not good, great overall in-ring performer. And notice I said in-ring performer because he's not an elite technician, but you don't need to be an elite technician to be a great overall in-ring performer, and that's what Ito is. So anyway, who was your number 1?
Takumi Iroha.
I knew that.
Because here's the thing. When it comes to given that we don't watch these promotions that much, although I give Ashton all the credit in the world, he really has his finger on the TJPW pulse, it really does come down to what matches did they have that really stood out to you? And Iroha's rematch with Mayu.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I mean, we keep saying it. Mayu didn't win that match. Mayu survived that match.
She did. She absolutely survived it. Iroha, great look, very endearing personality, I feel like. Definitely. And you want to talk about moves and technique and strikes.
Yep.
Oh, my Lord. I'm like, what am I even watching? The speed and everything else and the viciousness. Mm-hmm. I need to see her again. It broke my heart when you told me that she got injured and she had to have surgery and she might be out for a good bit of time, because it's always a year, a fucking year. Because it's always the brilliant ones. It's always the really brilliant ones that get this fucking shit. And my heart broke when you told me that, but I need to see her in Stardom again. I need to see Marvelous invade Stardom, honestly. And I need that in my life. I really do.
Wouldn't upset me.
So, yeah, I just wanted to say that. If you guys haven't seen Iroha's matches with Mayu, I mean, obviously listen to us first, but then immediately after
I would say the second one was a lot better than the first. The first was good, but I went back and watched it, and it didn't, like, blow me away. The second one was fucking amazing.
Second one was goddamn phenomenal. So, yeah, like, I just wanted to give her that love. So now we get to our overall top 10. Yep. You know how we do it, guys. Ashton may start with his number 10. I'll give my number 10, and so on and so on and so forth. So, Ashton, who came in at number 10 for you?
I went first for the other Fave 5.
Oh, okay. So, I guess I'll start. Number 10 for me, Roman Reigns.
Wow. Okay. Number 10 for me, Takumi Iroha.
Number 9 for me, Timothy Thatcher.
Ooh, okay. For me, number 9 is Azumi.
Number 8 for me, Santos Escobar.
Damn. I don't know. I still haven't quite registered that he was number 1 for you in NXT. Number 8 for me, Sami Zayn.
Number 7 for me, Sonata.
Beautiful. Wow. Number 7 for me, the Rainmaker.
Ooh, I love that. Number 6 for me, Pervin Those Knives, Jay White.
Nice. Number 6 for me, Mayu Iwatani.
Number 5 for me, our World of Stardom champion, the Dragon. Once again, now that she's got more than one title.
Beautiful.
Utami.
Awesome. Number 5 for me, Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns.
Fucking love it. We're in it now, guys. Number 4 for me, the Submission Sniper, Konami.
Beautiful. You might be surprised by this. Number 4 for me already, or not already, but ranking this highly in his first ever Fave 5 anything, Pat McAfee.
Damn, I love it, dude. I love it. Number 3 for me, the fucking king of pro wrestling, Suzuki.
Yes. Bro. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. Number 3 for me, Maki Ito.
Number 2 for me, Azumi.
Woo! Number 2 for me, Minoru Suzuki.
I love it. I love it. Number
Be
1
the
for
wind.
me. Yes. Number 1 for me, Juice. You better roll a motherfucker up, Robinson.
Wow! Was he your number 1 last time?
I think Mundo or Morrison was probably number 1
Dude,
last
he wasn't
time.
even on your list last time in your Universal Top 10.
Holy fuck.
He went from off the list to number 1.
What a fucking sprint.
Wow, what an ascent. And for me, it's quite the opposite. I've had the same number 1 on my master list, other than like last time I had Maki Ito, but even then, this person was number 2. The time before that, number 1. The time before that, number 2. The time before that, number 2. Like, yeah, it's consistent. It's EO.
Fucking EO. You'll love to see it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That was it. I'm going to make this really quick because I had to go to the bathroom for like 10 minutes, but I love this commentary, so it's worth the infection. So leave a like as you file out. I'm pretty much sure you guys already did. We got a 1-to-1 ratio going on here.
John goes on a 10-minute diatribe about the wonders of Hyper Misao in wrestling, and then by the end of it, he's just like, fuck, I've made a horrible decision.
Yeah, exactly. Like, God, nobody needed to read your dissertation, bro. It's not that deep. Click the bell icon for notifications, subscribe so you never again miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. And NXT is on in just a few minutes, guys. Obviously, we're going to be reviewing it at 10.
Yep.
You guys already know everything coming up. Tomorrow, obviously, we got Q&A. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving before then. Fill yourselves up with a lot of food and decompress and take the belt off with TWitWoW. I'm sure we'll be doing the same. And then Friday, it really is looking like we'll be doing Stardom because they've already got 4 matches up already from their one show. So, yeah, we're really doing well there. Thank you, Stardom. And, yeah, we're doing a Rocket League stream for Smackdown at 8 p.m. So Stardom will be 5 p.m. And then Smackdown will be 8 p.m. for the Rocket League stream. And then I think you even said, Ashton, we should be good on commentaries for next week until maybe even Wednesday. So that's it. I'm giving it to Ashton. Ashton, obviously, I'm going to be AFK.
Yeah, go empty your bladder. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you all enjoyed our 5 Fave Fives. We would appreciate it if you would let us know who your favorites are down in the comments section once this video is done processing. We hope to see you in our NXT review tonight. Of course, you could like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell, follow us on Twitter and Twitch, buy our merch on Teespring, donate to our Patreon, share this channel, and share this video with all your wrestling fan friends. let them in on the best kept secret in the YouTube and Twitch wrestling communities. We are TWitWoW, and we are the workhorses of the YNTWCs, and we will continue to prove that point. Oh my goodness. So we do have NXT review tonight. Then we've got Q&A tomorrow. John already mentioned Stardom on Friday at 5, and then our Smackdown Rocket League stream on Friday at 8. We hope that you're all looking forward to all of that. And then, yeah, we've got a few days in a row off. I'm going to use that time to catch up on my sleep because I've been sleeping like absolute shit lately. So yeah, I've got like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to figure out my sleep schedule. That's going to be dope as hell. And in the meantime, we are going to be going live here in, a couple hours covering NXT, which comes on in just over 20 minutes. So we hope that you all enjoyed Five Fave Fives. We hope that you're all looking forward to all that other content. And most importantly, we hope that you're all able to remember to stay tuned.